Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is December 12th, 2025, the Friday to wrap up the second week of December, and it's looking pretty good. Yesterday, the Russell broke out of Chop City. Things are doing good, even though Broadcom was a drag. Yesterday, you had a drag there with Oracle, but a lot of the same trends. I mean, silver, gold going crazy. I would say the only real issue, or maybe it does in the beginning, could be the bonds. You got to hear from a couple of Fed speakers. Some more were talking about being worried a little bit more about jobs than the inflation, and then some were still kind of painting some more caution. But this idea that there is cyclical growth, it was coming up before the Fed, it's coming up after. We're going to talk about it a lot here today. That's also kind of driving on this. So it's time to wrap up everything, think ahead for next year, and then next week you are also going to get a big set of data, non-farms and the CPI. But before we get into any of that, my friends, before we chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people, one that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I am talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of the cult, the people here, the people not here, want to give a huge special shout out all the active service, past service, anybody who has served this great nation. Thank you for fighting for our freedom. Thank you for making a sacrifice for the collective good. I hope all of y'all who haven't served, I hope you could appreciate this value, appreciation, freedom. I mean, again, financial concepts, are these real life concepts? You tell me. But fact of the matter is, we got an opportunity every day. And I know, not all of us were here to fight for it, and all of us had a different role in it. So God bless every single one of you who made that sacrifice, even to your families as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody should be owning the land, the good stocks, bro, stay out of trouble. Watch out for them scoundrels, man. I do hope y'all use the discipline. You use the training you have, and it applies very, very well to everything that we are doing here. But at the very least, God bless you and thank you. And big shout out to everybody else out there giving back to their local communities, all the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, everybody making their community run, baby. God bless you and thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise up. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Set the judge! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horna. Oh, God bless America. Chatadonia. Merry Christmas. Game time. Oh, yeah, it is game time. So, I would be watching Cyclical's value. We're going to talk about it a lot today, man. You didn't need a watch list to understand it, but I guess I'll tell you guys, because again, so if you've probably heard me talking about the S&P 500, all those lagging names, I mean, somebody heard, because if you didn't know, this is the biggest rally in the last 20 years of cyclicals versus defensives. So essentially, after the Fed, people are feeling more that the economy, and then think about it, the Fed increased their growth expectations, but now people are starting to assume that growth might be coming back next year after several years of underperforming. Real growth, not just AI spending. People are expecting that to come up. So literally, this is just showing you there's like defensive names that you could buy, but then a lot of that S&P that was down. That's pretty much what this chart is showing you, man. And it was actually 15 days in a row. This chart's a little bit behind. We'll see if that continues, but definitely going to be an idea that comes into next year. So I'm going to be watching out for some of those. Watch out for weed. Literally, there was a rumor from Washington Post that Donald Trump is going to reclassify marijuana. So it's in the rumor phase. You're going to watch that back and forth. Watch Lulu and Restoration. Those are the post earnings. Keep an eye on the Russell. That's the one that already broke out of Chop City. Going to be watching Orbs again, and then Disney for a follow-up of yesterday, and then Baidu. There's been, just look at Baidu. It looks a little different than a lot of the China plays. So other than that, we got about a minute and a half. I think we're going to have a good day. What do you think? You think it's going to be a good day? I think it's going to be a good day. I think it's going to be a blessed day. I think it's almost Chris. Feel bad because Uncle got people like afraid to triple up now. And now they're like, what do you mean? Now they scared to lose. They scared to win. Well, hey, man, that's why I just choose to be in love, brother. Choose to be in love. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be, you could be on the right side. Round 1. Fight. Alrighty. Let's see what we got. And yeah, we'll watch those Lulu. Again, silver too, man. So that's already starting off pretty hot. Oh, those are, see, yeah, some of them are still like $100 out of the money. So that's why, man, the chain runs deep. Doesn't even tell you by date, too. All right, yeah, even some of the damn, what's it called, popped off. No fucking way. Oh, just wide spreads on these. Again, WBD got a couple of headlines, and then watch out for more value. And then where's the other one? What price is that? Yeah, so honestly, just watch out for the spreads. Oh, and bonds too. That's the other part. Like we were saying, remember yesterday we were talking about if you get an easy run on the bonds, that'll be easy. But otherwise, it is they're going in reverse now. It's still volatile though. That move is still climbing here a little bit. TTD again. There'll be different types of cyclicals. Again, I think cyclicals with dividends are going to do a little bit better. Oh, and then where's the weed stocks? So yeah, that's already up. You're going to get another update on that. So essentially you're at the rumor stage. It'll either get confirmed or denied. Oh my goodness, though. Yeah, those jacked up. Well, still a lot of spreads, though. And then if you go out to January, you'll get less crowding, but still more spreads. Damn, even the Januaries went up 500%. Well, well, wow. Good morning, bro. Happy Friday. Dude, happy Christmas almost. Are you guys kidding me? It's literally almost Christmas. Isn't that crazy? Which one is that? Oh yeah, Broadcom. That might trade like the oracles again, depending on how low it hits. I don't think that's anywhere near 2 standard deviations though. Oh, that's a way better deal. Alrighty. All right, now long term, yeah. Oh, did they just jack those up, bro? Oh, they really did, bro. Damn it. Bro, I put in the order and then they scammed me. Well, well, well. Okay, they filled me. Just a fucking bid. And there's Broadcom. Bond's already coming back up here a little bit too. And then I haven't found anything on Lululemon. There's Little Scammers. Oh, I had one more I wanted. And where's silver? Silver already given it. Again, silver and gold popped up pretty big. It's kind of crazy. And then gold is still lagging silver by a decent amount. Oh shit, those gold premiums rocketed up. What? Yeah, the gold premiums are up a lot from the other day. Okay, I'm making some gold free. Yeah, the gold premiums have rocketed. So I know I had a good move, but I thought with how much they were lagging, it was going to chill for a little bit. And then, who's the other one? Alright, SLV. I'm still holding the original silvers, though. I'm going to keep those. Maybe I should have got rid of silver and held the gold, actually, now that I think about it. Because the silver has outperformed by a lot bigger margin. Tesla green shoot. Tesla. One more and then we'll be good. Oh yeah, BMY, they had some update. I forgot what it was, but they did good on something. I want to say it was a drug approval. Oh, you know what? Those probably won't be as good. I made your wings cold? What does that mean? You could still fly, pelican, fly. Alright. And now we wait. And now we wait, my friends. Actually, where are the financials? Those bank plays are up. You still got a little bit of time, actually. You could either make those free or push them. Or make them free or push or sell. What am I saying? I know, and Nike's are very, very good, Habibi. Very, very good. Oh yeah, where's CNC? And then Orbs. That one's still working too. Again, I told all y'all on the mispricing one. And then Tesla is still really going up here. Not damn Nikes, bro. Dude, I whiffed on those contracts from 2 weeks ago. They would have still had time. Or no, I think I would have rolled them over. Boo. Oh yeah, Nike earnings on Thursday. Especially with Lululemon here. Again, I think Nike has a little bit higher of a bar. But then again, they have been kind of beaten down. And then watch if Lulu, if that could wake up right here, you still are going to have a shot. So it just all, again, if it stays pinned, you guys saw a couple of these earnings already. If you get stuck in the pin, you're going to get screwed. So be wise, my brethren. Be wise. Yeah, I don't like the spreads. I like the chain on Lulu, but the spreads are terrible. Nike's still going up. Wheat stocks chilled out. Again, gold was on fire. Gold taking another stick right now. Alright. Everybody in the GLD. See, BMY is actually still running up there too. Damn, they're up 3. And then I just keep eye, man. Any of these cyclical plays, I mean, those could be a good opportunity there. Again, BMI was one of those value stocks as well. BMI kind of looks like Merck, to be honest. The only problem that's going to suck, like we said, if they slow down, you're going to be paying the fat premium on all of them, unfortunately. Who else is there? Anarchist. It's only been 10 minutes. Yeah, SPY with a little bit of a red. I don't know if there's data. No, 641, but a decently red candle. NASDAQ still down. And the peach. Oh, my goodness. Brother. Oh, no. Oh, Peach Nation. How are you, brother? How you feeling, man? Are you kidding me? Merry Christmas. These are the end of the year peaches, dog. Oh my goodness, Bradley Frizzle. God bless you, man. And thank you for everything. Thank you for many years, brother. Oh, happy Friday indeed. Oh, Peach Nation. From the mountains to the long time. It's amazing, bro. It's amazing. Colgate, CLX. We talked about those yesterday. Why are the bonds dropping? Well, there's going to be a little bit of volatility, but essentially it's kind of related to this idea of growth. We've talked about it a few times, but now if this idea that growth is going to come back, you know, non-AI growth, it's either going to be inflationary or it'll be growth without inflation. But mix that in with a lot of strong ideas on what's going to happen with policy and the economy, and I think that's why you get that reaction. Oh, why are these so expensive? Hey, man, baby. To the prairies, to the long time, filled with stocks. Peach all season, son. They won't film me. More. Weed stocks down, bros on the high. Disney again too. Again, that could still have that little lagging effect from yesterday, because yesterday was a big outperformer. Jeez, bro. I like some of these value stocks are very illiquid, or some of these cyclicals. There's a couple that are good, but there's some that, like, I don't even know. You have to get in the money if you're going to want to get out of them. Palantir down too. MOS on the high. That one keeps getting brought up. Who's the other one? Some Procter Gambling with the red. I haven't looked at healthcare. McDonald's, Hims, UNH on the high. So a couple more move in. Is that wheat again? Nope. There's a different MS. I think it's MOS that keeps tweaking me out. Comcast on the high as well too. And then Humana. Again, more healthcare is actually starting to move. Rivian had the delay. Oh shit, I didn't even notice that. So let's see. Oh, they barely went up. I guess they're 50% on the ask, but the bid is the same. I did indeed. Dog, why won't it fill me? Habibi, why you do this? Okay. Honestly, if you find a cyclical and they're like the bids and it's like super illiquid, you might want to even like really push the time, because that's kind of crazy. Some of these on the short run, there's nothing good, and then if you push it out, you'll actually get something. Yeah. Stupid. Target on the high ticker. That's part of it too. Coca-Cola. And then Disney's still going though. And then Amazon and Broadcom on the low. Sipping on some Fizzerve. Those other values are doing good too. Velo SpaceX partnership. We are in contact for SpaceX Raptor 4 increasing the fleet. Happy Friday, baby. Happy Friday. All right, so again, I mean, if you couldn't, I like the cyclicals. We're going to talk about it a lot today, but, you know, that whole slick charts S&P 500, I mean, those are literally, these are going to be potentially a main topic of discussion next year. So just be on the lookout for it. But then again, there's going to be both short-term and mid-term and long-term opportunities. Other than that, though, you just got to get through the data. The data dump that we get next week, that's going to kind of determine everything. Oh shit, what the fuck is this? Is that real? Yeah, there's one of those old SATS contracts. It's up 500% if it fills you. The fuck? It filled me. Okay. Alright, if you have any of those. Holy shit. Nice. And yeah, bro, the silvers, they keep running up. Surprisingly, bro, gold made a way bigger move. But if you have to, it depends on how close you were to the money. But yeah, those golds even today, those kind of went insane. I'm actually very surprised. And then what's it called too? Be on the lookout for this one today, Data Bridge. So remember, this thing's been climbing, but we haven't gotten the update yet. So the premiums have lagged a little. Remember, there's a huge range on it, but it's already, I mean, it's technically still up 15% depending on where you positioned on there. That was the SoftBank one. Mounjaro gets EU okay for type 2 diabetes. And then Disney is still going. I don't know if it's too late on Disney. Visa, BMNR, a couple crypto plays on the low, and SPY's even coming down. I don't know if that's the Amazon Nvidia effect. Amazon started dumping, Nvidia's going into the low. Apple's not doing too bad. Oh, it's only 650. Pizza. It's been a while since we got a pizza rumor. You know, like those supposed to happen once every 3 months or something? Once every month? Those as much, but yeah, Disney's going up. I saw you, baby boy. All you. Tesla's still running. What's it? Nasdaq at 0.5. SPY's down a quarter, and then Dow Jones is the one that's in the green, and then Russell's barely down. So interesting. It's still a little bit slower. I mean, yesterday was a little hotter. McDonald's going up. For me, yeah, didn't they, I think they canceled a contract, or somebody canceled one of their leases. I think that's even a reason why your boy went down, what's it called? CoreWeave. It went down in sympathy. Tesla. What a glorious day. Indeed, brothers. And that's it. It's going to be a glorious weekend. And then it's the end of the year, man. Isn't that crazy? Another year in the books, baby. Shout out to long term. Oh, man. Do you guys want to hear more long-term rants? Because today is about long-term rants. That's the crazy part. I'm even shocked, bro. That's what I was telling people last night, man. I mean, again, you didn't need the watch list to know about these value and the under, how many times did we talk about the underperformers? So it's kind of crazy. The biggest rally in like 20 years. So it's definitely a good sign. It may not confirm, if growth, that's kind of what we kept talking about, is that if growth comes in next year and it's really not real, and we don't get that, it'd suck if it was more inflationary or not. But yeah, it's like, depending on how this all plays out, if it holds up, I think it's going to be a major theme. Otherwise, at that point, if it doesn't hold up, you're probably going to have a recession. I don't know if we're going to have the same. I don't know if unless AI spending doubles, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold up growth with only just AI spending again, essentially. So we'll see where it leads us, man. We will see where it leads us. With KHC splitting, do I think it'll be a good or a bad thing? I do not know. I haven't been following it. So, like I said, I've kind of written them off, at least for my books, just because I think you could get other names. But like I told you yesterday, man, I would, did you get some Procter & Gamble? Did you get any other? I would just go pick the easier value plays that are going to be easier. And then if you want, you could dive deeper on KHC, but I just haven't liked KHC because it hasn't moved. But yeah, I've liked, I think it has some value in it. The Canagras and other stuff look good too. But yeah, I haven't been following because I'm pretty sure I thought Buffett was selling and people said he wasn't selling and all of that. Damn, gold again. I may have made those free too, Ale. They ran up a lot. And then silver's even climbing back up. I haven't looked at crypto. Shit, even Bitcoin's trying to move up here. SPY's right at VWAP. Yeah, NASDAQ and SPY and Russell's still down. The only thing up right now is the Dow. We'll get a check up here in a little bit. China Commerce Minister, that's an old headline. More long term. So yeah, I mean, I guess you still have time. I mean, again, some of these might go a little crazier, but you should go and look at that slick charts and just get familiar and think it's cyclicals. So, it's companies, it's this idea that last couple years, especially this year, a lot of names outperformed. Again, the consumer outperformed. I mean, shit, in 2023, people borderline thought we were going to have a recession, and you kind of already did. But yeah, Baba in China is going up. We had the old China headlines, but yeah, Baba, Baidu. Again, Baidu's actually the one that's down. JD and Baba are the ones ripping right now. And then, yeah, Oracle on the low. But yeah, we talked about this idea of just, underperformance. Things were slow. It's not like the consumer has been as hot as they were just a couple years ago. So think about these names, cyclical. It's not necessarily utilities and defensives like that, but if the consumer comes back, if we return to a more broader growth that's not just AI spending, what's that going to look like for the economy, and what are the names that would benefit off of it and still have been able to survive and do well? And then mix it in to the dividend discussion we had yesterday, because you got to think about it. If we get 3 more rate cuts by the end of next year, the Fed funds rate's going to be at like 2.75 or like 3 flat. No, I think 2.75. So yeah, that's why it's like, that's another reason why people are going to go with, if the consumer holds up, consumer grows, it's a good company that is, really just been stable, has good cash flow. Unless it runs into problems, people are going to like that, and they're going to lock in their dividends, not to mention get some more upside if the consumer really does come back, or if we do watch, some cyclical trends return and the economy starts to favor those that were down. That's literally what's happened. But it's surprised me. I mean, we've been talking about slick charts. I've been talking about the value here for just about 2 months. I would ask to beg you guys. I say, can I remind you? And I would show you the chart and we go over it. That's why I was telling you the S&P 500, because the S&P 500 is the economy, right? This really ties into that a lot more. Not everything's cyclical on there, but you do get a lot more exposure there, especially the ones that were beaten down on the S&P. Those are more, I think, at least 100 of them are the cyclical names. So you could have picked almost any of them. But the whole idea is that this is, you've still got time. We've got to see it materialize, and give it the next couple months. By March, I'm sure we'll find out. But if it does, this is going to be a major theme. And some of them are still down. Especially if a company has its own little problems that it has to go through, or it kind of underperformed for other reasons, it's gonna create this environment for that. KMB competitor? I don't know. Who competes with Kleenex and tampons? I'm not too sure, to be honest. Who is it? I could go look. And then are the weed premiums just up still? Yeah, no, weed's coming up. So yeah, they're widening the spreads on those. But that is starting to move. Service now. Oh, PGCL CLX. Really? No way. I didn't think CLX and them would be competitors, but those are cyclical names as well. And then I think PG's still like overpriced on certain metrics, but you do have the this is just like the easiest one out of all of them. But that's why I think it has a little bit extra premium. So where is it? I think we should go over it again. You know that? Because don't think it's too late. This is why I kept telling you, just get familiar with the whole entire list. Because then depending on how things play out, if one goes, you'll be able to make a better decision on the next one. So if you haven't done this yet, if you haven't gone to Slick Charts or anywhere, again, this is in the long-term video when we just picked up, that was good timing too. But when we talked about the tap and the Fiserv purchase, just like I'm saying, man, you should go on this list. And, if you have I was talking to yesterday, there was a couple Chads who had just way too much cash. If you have 80% cash, this is what I was saying, man. If you have a shit ton of cash right now, I would not be running a high cash balance. Again, 20 is your max, but if you're somewhere like 80% cash, 60% cash, I think it would be very wise to at least pick up a small portion to just start grabbing some of these. Again, you don't have to even grab the deep value. That's why I kept saying Procter. I think Procter Gamble will go down a little bit more. But if you have if you have cash, a lot of cash, and you're gonna keep buying it, and you've been holding, I think you could just start with the easy ones. But none of this is a recommendation. Like I'm saying, I don't think you should be holding a tremendous amount of cash. Again, I also don't think you should be top ticking tech. That's kind of the whole idea here. So you could go in the like 5 to 20% range, or 5 to 15, maybe 10. But literally, you go through all these, like, get familiar with these. There's a lot of good names still. And then, some are off of the bottom, some are still hanging out there. But that's why it's like, as things move, as we get, right now, we're waiting on confirmation. But you have a good sign. That's why I'm, talking about it today, because, we already got to make a couple of pickups. But this is what I'm saying. Usually, when you get these fucking cyclical versus defensive rallies, it doesn't stop. Right? It'll get choppy, or maybe it stalls out like the Russell does for a little bit and still stay high, and then it'll slow down a little bit. But this is the first sign of confirmation. So that's why I'm telling you, by like next year, by March, we're going to really have a good idea of what's popping off with that. So like I'm saying, you should really get, again, General Mills. Did we talk about that one yesterday? I think that's a decent one. Again, some of you got Target, UPS. Some of you picked up Pepsi earlier. That one kind of recovered. But just get familiar with this list, man. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be bad. The only problem is healthcare, because somebody asked, well, should I get healthcare? But the thing about healthcare is that it's kind of a risk to reward here, because healthcare might lag for another year. That's something I've been telling you from day one of the whole UNH debate. But the whole thing is that, if all these cyclicals rally, all these value names start to go, and then you end up going all in on healthcare, you don't want to miss some of those opportunities, and then healthcare kind of stays pinned. So you could grab a little bit of healthcare if you insist on it, but like I'm saying, I would just take advantage of the more high quality value cyclical plays. Again, this is why part of cyclical, they're going to be making money, still have cash flow, and then especially, please don't underestimate this, has to be around for 10 years. So this doesn't mean just buy deep value struggling companies. No, this means buy the really big names that are good and that just have been underperforming quite heavily, and some have given up several years of gains, but yeah, they're still there. You came across a lot of income and you're holding a lot of cash. You continue to contribute, but you're sitting on a lot of cash. Well, I just gave you the answer right there. I would put it to work. And that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these, I wouldn't feel bad putting a lot of cash if I was holding cash not working. And again, and all I was going to do is have the cash sit there. I mean, again, buying companies that are like almost guaranteed to be here in 10 years and are kind of big enough. That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't be buying like the deep value. Like, so let me put it this way. If I didn't have anchors in my portfolio, I would have easily been buying Procter & Gamble. I would have easily, again, and it's going to go down. Procter & Gamble is kind of overpriced, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm going to work it in though, that's the problem. Some of you guys who have a lot of cash and you're hearing this right now, please do not get FOMO. Please do not make a dumb mistake by rushing. Because think about it. I've been talking about this for 2 months. So instead of throwing all of your money up now while it's up 20, instead of throwing 20% of your cash in after it's up 20% from that bottom when we started talking about this, you're going to be better off just deciding and then slowly working in the money, just like you do with your long term, and just increase the amount if you have a lot of cash. So like I'm saying, it's just really, I think it's really simple, because now, you're not going to be even into by the end of next year. If the economy does bad, some of these companies will go down a little bit more, but they're kind of already priced for that. They shouldn't go down as much as everything else. And then if they go up, everything stays stable with them. That's why stability, longevity, consistency is what you're looking for. Those dividends are going to be way better than any single fixed income you could get your hand on. And then you get the growth of some of these names. So, yeah, man, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Well, I'm glad you made a pick, but like I said, I don't want you guys influencing each other. You should know this by now. But like I'm saying, this is what sucks, because we have talked about this for a while. So again, slick charts, I remind you guys, I'd ask if I could have the conversation again. So yeah, you don't need to post your plays on there. I'm just giving ideas out to some people. And again, I think you would have been good if you listened earlier than not. You still have an opportunity, and it's not, like I'm saying, it's not about FOMOing right now. You missed out on a couple of them, but I do, you've seen the stock market. You know how this shit's going to play. You're going to have a little bit of time until they all really go, but you just got to get familiar with all these different options and go from there, and you will be good to go. But yeah, just don't ignore it. Again, at some point, cyber's going up. Is cyber in Palo Alto? I don't know, man. Do we have to get some fun? Yeah, check cyber in Palo Alto. What's going on with that? Are we about to get a buyout or what? Those are already up a lot. Check, it's only 1.4, but they're both moving in tandem. Is turning to private firms in cyber. Executive order is expected to follow cyber strategy, according to People. All right, so White House and cybersecurity. All right, got me one. Those might be duddy though. So like I'm saying, keep it very small, and then you'll get to go, and it'll probably move whenever the executive order comes out. Yeah, they're all kind of moving there. Oh. Grocery outlet? I have no idea what grocery outlet is, to be honest. Is it like Smart and Final? I know Smart and Final. I know Pick and Save. You guys still do the pick. You know Pick and Save? Is that the Big Lots? Tell me why. Eli Lilly again. You got that EU news. SPY's coming down though. It's starting off low, but I do think some of these cyclicals are holding up, my friends. Besson says Treasuries, FinCEN, investigation of money services, business concern. You could talk about grocery outlet. It's a chain similar to TJ Maxx. Really? Where is it, like nationwide? I've never heard of this place. Grocery Max. What's their stock? Besson says Treasury personnel are on the ground in Minnesota. McDonald's too. McDonald's could somewhat be a cyclical as well. Deere, CL. Again, notice a lot of these cyclical Dow plays are still moving up. So even though the SPY's going down, that could be because of the earnings effect, but there's a lot of other ones that are going up. They have a grocery outlet in California. I've never heard of this place. Go. So this already looks like deep value, but yeah, I mean, that could be it. If again, unfortunately for me, I just have zero experience with it. Like I had experience with Sprouts, you know, and like Sprouts was really, really cheap at one point. But yeah, and then I know your Costco's and everything else, but yeah, that might be a little risky. But if you do use it and you know it and you think it'll be here in 10 years, I would just go find out why they've kind of been struggling. Wait a minute, I think I know of this place. Yeah, I think I remember seeing it in Palm Springs, like around there. Now that you say that, I think I could imagine the logo. Is it kind of like, that sounds familiar. I feel like it reminds me of Smart and Final. Yeah, I've seen this place. No, I've seen this place. I'm pretty sure this is Smart and Final. Isn't this Smart and Final rebrand? Yeah. I've seen these. It's a Smart and Final rebrand. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's the only problem. Is that if you don't really know about it, it's just sustainability. So like I'm saying, for some of y'all, you could get one of these if you know and use it, but you already have anchors. You already have more good than bad in your portfolio. I could greenlight it. But if you like have heavy cash and you haven't picked up an anchor, you only have deep value in your portfolio, go get something way bigger like a PG or something like that. Does that make sense? That's the part I think some of you are going to have to juggle here. You know, you don't want these deep value. If it does good, you make 5 times, right? But at the same time, you don't want to, you don't want to just buy these and like, think about it. The cyclical rally, it's going to benefit if they make money, right? If the consumer comes back, the economy comes back, it starts going up, that's how you're going to benefit. But if you buy the one that's struggling and then the whole economy rips and then you get the one that kind of has their own issues, that's not going to be pretty. So like I'm saying, if you have a lot of cash, go for the bigger value ones. Don't start with these ones. But if you already have fucking Netflix, Meta, you got JP Morgan's, you got good anchors, and you're like, what should I buy next? You want more, you want good value, and you know about it, you use it, and you still want other upside, then yeah, I'm down with it. Because it looks familiar, but I've never been. So me personally, I'm probably never gonna buy this stock, just because I've never shopped there. I've shopped at Smart and Final, but then I'm pretty sure Smart and Final, didn't their stock get clapped? Tell me why. It does kind of look like Office Max. The VIX is going up, bonds dying. It looks like Smart and Final. I want it long train. PGR again. Remember all of the insurance rumors. And then XBI was going too. And then IWM's still down. Let's get a checkup here. Show me what you're working with. Lots of stocks. So NASDAQ 51 green, 50 in the red. So it's 50-50. Dow 20 green, 10 in the red. And then SPY 280 green, 216 red. It's borderline way closer to 50-50 today than anything. Who owns Aldi? Isn't Aldi and Trader Joe's? That's the one, because I think Aldi is the best discount store, but cheapest to shop at. Aldi's is actually crazy. And then Target's insane though. That's why I don't know how Target's expensive, dude. That's like if you buy anything normal at Target, it's kind of crazy. Aldi and yeah, it's the same. No, I don't know if Aldi's is private. I thought it was owned by yeah, the German brothers or whatever. Long term is the place to be. Bow, bow. Save it fast. Hold it long. Save it fast. Show me what you're holding with. I'm sorry. It's early. D-Mac. And the wheat stocks came down after those premiums went up. Gold and silver is still holding, but no advancements. I mean, if anything, it's 50-50 with tech weighing to the downside. Nasdaq's almost down 1%. But then again, these values and cyclicals are doing pretty good. Yeah, they all are. Fizzer. Sip, sip. Molina, bro. That one, again, Michael Burry does it again. Listen to his value plays, not his short ones. You'll be fine. He did hit the Palantir pretty good, though. Fermi's coming up. Again, they got clapped on that news earlier today with the lease cancellation. CRBP. Ya BNB. Wow, Habibi. Stifle on Fermi lease is not risk of being canceled. That's what they say. If that's not true, then that thing's gonna rip. I mean, it's literally down 30 on that. Luis? What up? So again, in the morning, I'm pretty sure they said it was canceled, or they reported something, but they're gonna, if it ends up being not as bad, it's gonna move. Long-term stocks. Where can you find the list? It's this anywhere. So just go. You could go to Slick Charts. That's the one that I had up. But the whole idea was going and doing. Just going to anywhere you could look at the S&P 500 components, and then just take a look at them. I'll post it here in a second for you. So I need to check this one out. Yeah, first tenant AICA terminates. The company announced in November that the company and first tenant advanced aid construction agreement agreed to certain conditions to advance $150 in construction costs. No funds have been drawn. The exclusivity letter intent expired on midnight December 9th. Subsequently, the company commenced discussions with several other potential tenants for power delivery. First tenant notified the company it's terminating the AICI. So they're not getting rid of the lease. They're getting rid of the construction products. That's what it sounds like. I like home builders. I just don't like their prices. So they're just up a lot. That's the only thing I'm not a fan of. And then, but again, with depending on cyclicals, rates, and other stuff, they may have an opportunity. So yeah, I'm gonna post the link too for you, Luis. But here's the deal. You guys could get this anywhere. You could get it on TD Ameritrade. You could go to TradingView. Just literally type in S&P 500 components on Google, or even go ask a AI, bro. Go ask your AI to do it, and it'll do it for you. So all you need to know is just get the 500 names on the SPY. It's like 503, and then just organize it by the ones that are down the most. So if you have Gemini, I bet you it could do it. So if you go through Gemini, I'm sure it'll start doing it. But the whole idea here is you just want to get familiar with these names. And again, like I'm saying, if you haven't made good pickups, you don't have a built-out portfolio, you could go smaller on some of the ones that are still beaten down. Like I like Chipotle, like Molina, that's healthcare, but like Lulu and Deckers, these are like high flyers, man. And they're still kind of big, but these aren't dividend ones. Especially the dividend cyclicals, I think are going to be a lot better. But yeah, just go through it and get familiar with it. I like General Mills, man, more and more when I look at that one. I think the cereal. But yeah, shit like that I think is going to serve you a lot better. TOS watchlist widget, pull up S&P and add year to date to the percent column. Let me see, I'll do that here in a sec. Lots of stocks. So yeah, like I said, we brought this up for I would bring it up didn't I do it 2 weeks in a row? I think we brought it up every day because I really wanted to make sure people got this. So I think it was a really, really good one. Silver strong drop. Oh yeah, that flip, and gold too. I think all of them can. Yeah, so Fermi's going now. So like I'm saying, they're going back and forth. It only gets good if they're like, yeah, they canceled construction but not the lease, something like that shit. But yeah, you're just gonna have people go back and forth. So if you want to speculate on it, it's all you. Yeah, I'm not. That's just crazy because I don't even like. I never knew slick charts till Tim told me. It's not like I endorse them, but that was just one of the easiest for a lot of people. And like I wanted y'all to fucking get the value. Get the value before the world. You know what I'm saying, bro? Before the world. Oh, welcome, Connor. How are you, man? Hope you've been doing good. Hope you got the long time. Let me see. So where is it? TOS watch list. What is watch list? Oh, watch list? Yeah. Isn't it on one of these personal, public, top 10? S&P 500, and then just add a year to date. Can we pull this out? So yeah, even if you go find your watch list on TD. How do I Add the column. All you need is a year to date on this one. Customize column. Year to date change. Why didn't it add it? There it is. So yeah. Boom. Oh, that's just a change. I want year to date percentage. Percent year to date change. That's the one you want. And then boom. Just like that. So TTD. I don't know. Some of these are a little different, but it's at least showing you in real time. Lulu, deck. It's a similar list. And then boom. If you do it like that, you could have it on TD. I think we could pin it. And then, yeah, you could set that to your watch list and just save it. And then you could track this in real time. Last 30 minutes, you didn't miss much. I think it just sold off. We're 50-50 right now. It looks like tech is dragging, but there's still money rotating to these cyclicals and values. But yeah, now it's starting to pick up a little bit more. You pretty much gave up all of yesterday's gains. Remember, yesterday, too, towards the end of the day, that's where we kind of started melting up. Lot of stocks. Fermi. So I got it. He figured it out. Amazon, I think was Amazon and Nvidia. You had good H200 news today, though, but you know, it did not really do that. Amen, bro. Well, even then, even if you've been busy, we gave updates on the trading fraternity, but it was just the opportunity. I mean, it's not like I still think it's going to come into play next year. That's why we even brought it up again today. I still don't think it's too late. I don't want, I hope some of you don't like get FOMO and, because some of these names did move up 10, 20%. You're not supposed to FOMO them like that, but it's a good time. And I think this is going to be something we'll hear about next year. So just get prepared, get familiar with it. Make sure you don't sit on too much cash and you'll be good to go. And then if anything, you can follow, just make sure you're on the trading fraternity if we do add any long-term stuff. Because this is what I brought up on the long-term video as well, too. So we bought, was it beginning of this week or last week? I forgot when it was. But I go over the same exact thing. The slick charts, the year-to-date, all of it. I know it started off really good on silver and gold. They just dumped. Now everything's coming down. Let's take a look at the checkup. If it starts to flip, I think it'd be a little bit more serious. But for now, I do think this is just the tech names. Yeah, Dow still has 20 in the green. That's still the leader, but that actually just flipped red. NASDAQ, 58 in the red. So about almost 10 more names went red. And then SPY, actually a couple more went green. You got 270 green, 226 in the red. So I think it's still outsized tech impact. And then cyclicals are kind of slowing. Dell increasing prices on December 17th. They're kind of tweaking off that. Lot of stocks. What's BMY still? Broadcom down 9. What was I think it was still 15% is 2 standards. But yeah, that's also the bigger drag there, and that's hitting the low right now too. Dell's moving. For me, I think the wheat stocks chilled out. They're just holding that bottom intraday. Yeah, it's a Broadcom and a few others. Nvidia, and then Amazon's down quite a bit. Where's Microsoft in? Dutch government tilts bond sales to shorter debt. Asmil now. I mean, that's related, but not related to that news. Lake Joby. Santa rally absolutely canceled. Well, it's either, if it doesn't have, I mean, we'll see where we close by today, but it's either going to be run up ahead or we start front running and you make the move after the data next week. And then if none of that goes well, you'll just have 5 days at the end of the year. So the last 5 days from after Christmas to January, I want to say it's like green 80% of the time. So, and then again, depending on the data there, that'll kind of get you either moving or not. But regardless, I still think these cyclicals, Santa might just, you know, maybe the naughty and nice list. Santa might just arrive at the good names. Or maybe this is the overcrowding too, right? As we are about to get out of Chop City, you get this. And that's what I mean, this stall, where essentially we like run up. We talked about this yesterday, actually. Like kind of how the Russell does it in a lot of different assets this year is that if we kind of run up here and it may not necessarily go down, but it'll just stall out for like a week. They switched Thursday to Friday because everybody got in, bro. They played the Thursday. DNTH. You know, it was exactly a year ago today we had the first Slick Charts conversation. Are you serious? There's no way. I mean, are we getting old? I feel like I'm getting old. That was a year ago? I remember I started banging it on the table a couple months ago just because it was getting out of hand. That's what I'm telling you. I was like, man, it was like right as people were like, everything's so expensive. Nothing is affordable. How would I ever invest? I was like, what do you mean, dude? You have 67% of the S&P 500 is underperforming again. So is this it? Yeah, this was on the watch list too, or the trading fraternity video. So like I'm saying, even if you guys missed it or anything, and then again, these other years too, we got some pretty big pickups. But, you know, and it's a little bit better, but this is where I'm saying if pretty much people are expecting either the Fed or the economy is going to support this type of environment where we get back to S&P kind of running and not just 7 names. So that's why it's like, man, just don't, if anybody ever that's been a theme this year. I remember saying that all year because it's like if someone tells you everything's out of reach, I mean, just don't believe them. I would go look for yourself. Rivian. All right. Ethereum now on the low. Yeah, Rivian's still up. That's kind of crazy. The long term is the place to be. Bow, bow. Where are those? BRBR. BXR. FMX. Fermi still holding. What was the other one? Polyalti. I know, I guess it hasn't even been a year. Well, that's why, bro. Did you see it? I don't even think it's me see. How many long terms have been created? Oh, yeah, huh? Yeah, that was before slick charts. Remember, that's what we came into the beginning of this year. We were saying, just look at the names that are down still. Yeah, Colin sent me a whole entire list. Yeah, I love it. We are getting old. Let me see. What was it? Bobo on the high. What was I going to show you guys right now? I was going to pull something up. I just blanked. Yeah, I don't know why Boeing's moving. Well, I was just about to look at something. I just blanked heavy. Oh, yes, I know what I was going to show you. I was going to show you the dumb... Because you said 1 year of the presidency. You can't make this shit up, bro. So there was another one yesterday. This is an old one. But like these like Democratic senators, they keep like posting these charts. And they're like, Donald Trump raised raised the living cost. Donald Trump affordability. Do you guys, can you read this chart? Do you guys know what this chart says? So they posted this chart and they said that Donald Trump is responsible for the living crisis. The prices increased for utilities. Do you know what this chart says? This one's insane. There was one yesterday. Which one was it? But yeah, this chart is from 2022 to 2025. That means Donald Trump is right here. Arguably, borderline. It's like really right here. And then there's, I'm like, wow. So yeah, there was another post yesterday, but I forgot who it was. It was bad. Well, that's why. It's either they don't know how to read charts or they assume that their constituents don't know how to read the charts. But yeah, because that's why it's kind of crazy. It's literally been 1 year of Trump. And then next year is going to be a midterm, and then you guys know they're still blocking him from hiring people. The judges are still, the judges block Texas's redistricting, but then they're going to allow the other redistricting in Cali. I hope not. But then, did you guys hear about the Fed? So this one's crazy. Because now the Fed, they just reapproved all of the 12 governors, or 11, I think, because Bostic doesn't count. But they have done it now. And they've approved them for another 5-year term. That's insane. So now, none of those Fed guys are leaving except Powell. So they have solidified the same exact Fed for the next half a decade. So I think that's kind of offensive. Why? Because this is the same Fed that has been riddled with just all sorts of nefarious activity, from insider trading to breaking rules, the appearance of many other rule breaking, you name it. But I can't believe it. Yeah, I'm actually like pretty shocked by that. Yeah, real estate fraud. Nah, bro, it's nuts. Because it's like the Fed, if they just kind of left, if they just left their job after kind of scamming us so hard, I'd kind of be okay with it. But dog, to solidify, because they're like, well, it'll ensure the leadership remains stable. It's like, we don't want a bunch of stable fraudsters. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, bro, kind of whack. I can't believe it, dude. So now all those Fed governors, some of them don't even live in their district. They're just bad. I mean, the Fed, these last 5 years of the Fed has been riddled with more scandal than any other decade. It's actually like nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually nuts. So I don't know why they're getting rewarded. I don't know why they would keep them. I know why. It's because they're literally just trying to centralize power and make sure that Donald Trump can't replace the people. But then again, it's like, you're literally letting probably the worst group of Fed people we have witnessed in the last 20 to 40 years. Like, just objectively. When was the last time this many Fed people got in trouble, had a scandal, violated rules, you name it? It's just, you've never seen anything like it. So to keep all those people and then give them another 5-year term, what does that say about both Congress, the Fed, and even us as a people for us accepting it? Why would that happen? But yeah, that news came out this morning or last night, but it's actually I think that's one of the craziest things. Because remember, I was just telling you, it's about to be a unique situation where not only does the Fed chair leave, but you were about to have every governor's term expire as well, too. Yeah, no wonder Jay Powell was so happy. Well, I was glad because they seemed to be on better behavior. The Fed seemed a little bit more realistic at the last meeting, but like I'm saying, these guys are idiots. I just respectfully, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I just feel like they are low caliber, low quality thinkers, let alone actors, in the sense of they have all, the way they behave, the way they use analysis, it's actually a disgrace. So I mean this all respectfully. I'm not trying to be mean to these Fed people. I'm not trying to really talk shit. I'm just trying to say, objectively, that would be like having an NBA team and just you go fucking 2 for 80 is your record. The fucking G League would have been better. That's what I'm saying. Why would you sign them all to another 5-year contract and pay them at an NBA rate? I don't get it. It's literally they're not. It's actually wild. I don't know. I don't know if it's nepotism that got them there as much as it is I think it's preservation of power. That's why. I just think they want to stay in control. And these guys got in. I mean, they got in because you got to think about it. Biden appointed most of these people. Again, Trump appointed a couple that are still there too. But once these people got into power, they don't want to give it up. It's actually it's a very unsmooth transition if you really think about it. But we could argue about this in many aspects of politics now, but fuck all that. I'm just saying, for the Fed alone, these guys have been objectively terrible. And that's why to re-sign these dudes, I can't even believe it. Because that's what I'm saying. Maybe half of them I would have been more accepting, right? Half of them stay, replace it. That's more normal, honestly. You know what I'm saying? You kept a couple of Trump guys until not, and then you get to appoint your own people. But these guys are terrible. Again, they've been... The last lady, Kugler, homegirl, was literally day trading during the blackout period. She violated 4 or 5 rules just explicitly. And it's just not even it's just crazy that it's, again, I think she's resigned, but whoever is going to get appointed or whoever has their other contracts, a lot of the people that knew about this, a lot of the people, they all worked together. They were all together with all of the last 5 years of analysis. This is the same borderline, a majority is the same group of people that fucked up transitory, let alone everything else in between, let alone, again, last 2 years, all of their actions have only benefited Wall Street and short-term capital rather than Americans. But it's terrible. So yeah, that was my surprising piece of news, I think, in the last 24 hours. Yeah, Dolly and SVB. Oh, don't even get me started. Well, I would argue inflation's not going up. So this is what I said in the beginning. I said this at the beginning of the year. Remember, like, when inflation was guaranteed going to go up, they said, no, it's not, transitory. And then when you get a deflationary set of tariffs, they used pretty much the tariffs as deflation or supply or in transitory supply chain. It's like they do the exact opposite. It's actually insane. And I'm not even saying it like to be a contrarian. I say it because they're idiots. Does that make sense? Like, it's just like they're not really. I said this a couple months ago. I genuinely believe I could go pick people from the chat, and I could have a way more intellectually advanced Fed that would be better serving the people. That at this point, these guys, I don't even think they know what's happening. I don't even think they read. I think they know how to read, but I just don't think they go out of their way to read. And they will go and spend, literally, they'll be like, let's do a 9-month study on tariffs before they come to a conclusion, even if there is obvious in front of them. Cody Chair to leave as owner. Tsunabe set to depart. Peter Harf steps down in major overhaul. I think the bond move in the morning was more, but it's just volatile, back and forth. Again, that's what I'm saying in the AM. Bond volatility is still high. Fermi's going up again. Fermi, can't you see? Sometimes the long term hypnotize me. I just love the 10% ways. Don't get broken, you should say. Yeah, man. The Fed. I can't believe them. I can't believe they got another contract. That would be like re-signing Ryan Leaf. Nah, Idiocracy would be better. Sadly, we're at the terrible stage where, like, they're just dumb. Idiocracy, at least they were like, oh, why did he sound like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, they would come to a better conclusion. You see, like, if it was Idiocracy, they'd be like, but I don't see inflation. Why you say inflation? No inflation. They would make a better decision. Do you understand? That's the scary part about it. I would argue if you had an Idiocracy Fed group of governors, they would be a lot better because they would actually see some level of common sense. Yes, I think the problem is they think, I guess, what's it called? It's like if you give it's like a donkey, like donkeys get prideful. If you like hype up a donkey is going to think it's a lion. And that's kind of what it is. I think they have been elevated. They have the highest positions, arguably, in the world. And now they it comes with the aura of being smart and all these other things. But, like, they're just single-handedly some of the dumbest people out there. This is my personal opinion. I just think they're very foolish. And I could tell by the way they break their laws, the way they violate codes of conduct. It's just like and then they get caught. So not only are they dumb enough to break the rules, they're also dumb enough to get caught. Do you understand? Like, do you get it? There's a very big difference. Like, at least, like, like, Sam Altman hasn't even been caught yet. So that's not giving props. But, like, nah, bro. It's actually, it's not even, I don't even know, bro. Yes, exactly. 100%. If these people, these people would have probably went to jail for their conduct if they were not on the Fed. And if they weren't protecting some image or some level of political power, you would have been like, why would anybody be able to get away with this shit? Let alone just bad decision making. Even if you didn't want to throw them in prison, if you just looked at their decision making, you would not rehire these people. Like I said, in a sports analogy, they are like 2 for 80. It's like, and a lot of people know. Again, somebody else talked about this. Who else was it? Somebody else said this the other day, and they're just like, even if you just look at I think Michael Burry, if you just look at their track record, people always doubted the Fed. People always talk shit on the Fed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've always had people bring this up, but like, this has just been the worst stretch of like, these guys have been so far in la la land that, and not to mention they're just all just scheming to day trade. It's just like, how? I know they did really hate Powell because Trump appointed him. But then Powell made it clear Powell hates Trump, dude. But then again, like, I'm not going to lie, bro. If the president was calling me a little bitch every other day on Twitter, I'd get pretty mad. I'd be like, holy shit, this guy does not stop. You're terrible. Too late. It's too late to apologize. You're too late. I'd be like, oh my gosh. What are we referring to? Examples of what they did? Honestly, if you don't know what I'm referring to, this might not be a conversation for you. If I have to go back and document what you've witnessed in the last couple years, if you've already memory hold it, then by all means continue to live in the however you please. But I just don't think this conversation's for you right now. But if you do know what I'm talking about, I think you got more than enough examples. You could probably pull some out of your ass and just be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. You could bring up the recent ones last year, every year, actually. Do you know somebody named Raphael Bostic? Does that ring a bell? So ironically enough, he resigned. So he's not renewing by choice. So good for him. But yeah. Too late to apologize. OC, what are these? All these little holding companies are going up, and then that Churchill one that always scams. SPY still coming down, man. So 750. It's not even Euro close yet, but shitty start after a little bit of gapping up. Lulu back to 202. None of them fucking hit. Again, the cyclicals did pretty well off the morning, even if they came down. I think the weed premiums are still high, too. Oh, weed's popping again. Speak of the devil. Yo, check weed again. It's starting to wake up like we got it. Oh, it's actually really going. Hi. My name is Long Term. I don't think those will hit. So, yeah, literally, you could grab it. It's going to move. They already doubled. Fuck. Yeah, literally, all those weed plays went back to break even. Not the ones with time, so I just picked some up real quick. I just accidentally put it up just to check it, and it fucking went up 4%. Woo! Yeah, is there an update? Planet Labs. There has to be something, bro. It just popped off for no damn reason. As I'm saying, some of those went to break even on the short term, so I just took it. But I only just saw that right there, just by clicking on it. Rhythm halted. Iran arrests Nobel Peace Laureate Narges Mohammadi. Oh, little scammers. Come on, bro. Film me. Well, whatever it is. And then dog. All right, I need to go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. If you hear a ding, I put an order in to sell, so I won't be here, though. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. Man, follow just objectivity, too. You know that? Because like I'm saying, man, we had a good year, but up 100%. Nice. But like I was saying, man, a lot of things this year, like, people missed obvious stuff because of the politic bullshit, dude. So, yeah, Mary Jane. Is it coming out again? Cannabis stocks soar. It's Wall Street Journal pumping it. I don't think there's a new update. Oracle data centers for OpenAI delayed to 2028 from 2027. Uh-oh, hot dog. Watch if Oracle... Yeah, Oracle's dumping on that. That's not good. Because then think about it. If you were worried about any of the... Oh, they already jacked them up. Let me see if I could get it. Fuck. Damn, I had those. Yeah, check Oracle. That's not going to be good. Data centers delayed. All right, found. Got to get a little time because think about it. If they're already worried about the credit, it's going to be think about it. OpenAI, and then OpenAI just had to get $1 billion from your boy yesterday. That's not a good sign. So it already took 2%. You're going to need more for that to hit. Oh, it didn't fill me on all of them? Oh, shit. So the first one, it didn't get me. It moved it up right away. They didn't fill me on there. I only got one of them. It's already, it says up 1,000%. But yeah, check eyes on Oracle. Again, it's either going to be a dud or it's going to do the little bounce and then drop again. Yeah, Trump expected to sign executive order on cannabis on Monday. So yeah, they're pumping the cannabis shit. CNBC says it's expected Monday. So that's second update on that. So that means it's either going to continue or it's going to, someone's going to shut it down over the weekend or even today if they deny it. But if it doesn't get denied, you might actually get that. So again, that's confirmed right now by CNBC. So pretty much CNBC is driving the second part of the rumor. Again, we already hit 100% on those. And then if you have the other ones with time, you're fucking golden. I got you, G. I got a cheap Oracle, but I wanted more. It didn't give me them all. Oclo too. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. I didn't think about that. NVIDIA dropping now. That could be off the Oracle one. So yeah, they all took one. All the data center shit. And then again, weed, you're getting the CNBC. Goolsby, I'm not saying we can't consider cuts for a long time. This guy, everybody was fucking dying. Meta was at $90. He's like, don't worry about it, golden path. You've had no inflation for a year. He's like, well, we might get some inflation. You better watch out. Give Wall Street cheaper loans. Gosh, man. See, I don't know if you're looking for examples, but then again, would you accept the examples even if you got them? That's the better question. So, watch Oracle, watch weed, and then watch yourself. You know? So yeah, okay, I'll be right back. I want to play CNBC though. They're the ones that dropped the weed shit.
So the treasury yields are a little bit higher, so there's some selling of treasuries, pretty much going against the trend. Materials, real estate, and healthcare are higher. Everything else is lower. Broadcom is a big part of the story in terms of the weight on tech stocks and the NASDAQ, but they're all getting punished a little bit. Micron, Amazon, Palantir, Nvidia, all weaker today. Tesla, Netflix, and Apple are bucking the trend. We're going to start with the latest test for the AI trade and those earnings from Broadcom. Stock is a mover. Christina Partsinevelos has more on the outlook. And Christina, just generally what you're hearing today.
Yeah, Broadcom, let's start with the good news. It did post some strong earnings Thursday with AI revenue up 74% year over year and a $73 billion backlog, although some are saying that $73 billion number wasn't even high enough. Shares, though, as you pointed out, are sliding over 10% so far today, as Broadcom is really becoming the latest casualty of AI spending skepticism. And what do I mean by that? The chipmaker had been the AI trade work performing well just over the last 2 months while Nvidia flatlined, so doing really well. But now even this winner is getting hit. And why do I say that? Bernstein said, quote, stocks in the AI space have suffered from investor angst lately. Broadcom's sell-off shows that angst is just continuing. The issue isn't necessarily execution, but sustainability. Broadcom just doubled its Anthropic order to $21 billion in rack shipments for the second half of 2026. That represents over 40% of its full year AI revenue concentration in just one customer, so there's concerns about that. Morgan Stanley notes these rack sales come with, quote, material lower gross margins because Broadcom is essentially just reselling components, think high memory prices from Google, other suppliers, that it can't necessarily mark up, so it has to pass it through. The company also announced a fifth customer with $1 billion in orders for late 2026. Analysts are speculating it could be Apple, SoftBank, xAI, though not OpenAI, which won't contribute meaningfully until fiscal 2027. So people are a little bit surprised about that as well. So you have questions about margin pressure, revenue sustainability after that Anthropic deal goes through, AI revenue guide for 2026 that was missing, and whether this growth is lumpy rather than durable, and they're all weighing on shares. But I'll end on a more optimistic note, because you have many analysts, Jefferies, Wells Fargo, in their tech note, points at just how well owned this stock was going into the print with Gemini launch, and so today is just some plain old profit taking. Guys?
Yeah, I saw a chart earlier about how tough the setup was going to be going in. I think it was a look at the Broadcom valuation against the Nvidia valuation, the PE against each other at the highest ever. So there has been this trade. It's been a big beneficiary of the Google versus OpenAI trade as well in recent weeks.
Exactly. So there's a lot in there. And then some people even say, oh, the non-AI revenue was a little bit weaker, but you don't own Broadcom for the non-AI story. You own it for the customer business. And that continues to grow, which we saw with the $73 billion backlog. So perhaps right now it's just a matter of the high valuation and just very heavily owned going into this.
Christina, thanks. Christina Partsinevelos watching a very interesting space. On to the broader markets. The Dow is on its way to a third straight positive week, giving back some of the earlier intraday gains, as Sarah said. All three major indices down as investors do rotate away from tech stocks. Let's bring in UBS Alignment Partners Managing Director Ali McCartney, who's here at Post 9. It's great to have you back.
All right. They didn't talk about the wheat stuff. So everybody just reiterated it, to be honest. I thought they were going to give another update with new info. But either way, SPY's dumping now. The Oracle shit's bringing everybody down. Now, and Broadcom, too. So that's not good. I mean, think about it. We're all just talking shit about Sam Altman, the little Disney deal yesterday, and now they're like, well, we need 1 extra year on the data center. How will we go pay the bonds? What about the bond? So, yeah, here we are. My goodness. I mean, the weed stocks, I would just flip it with I wouldn't really, get too involved in it. It'll have a reclassification. You might get like hype around it. Maybe we get a little baby bubble, but I wouldn't fall in love with them. And I don't think, like I've always told you guys this for years, most people don't know this. That's why it'll be funny when like the people who don't know it kind of, they're all going to make articles and shit depending on how it plays out. But like weed is not profitable. You guys know that, right? Like if you're a drug dealer selling dime bags, it's kind of profitable. But like weed on like the legal scale, unless you have a brand like Cookies and it has like, you know, certain hype and you could charge a premium, weed is it's like farming. You guys, it's a plant. You know that, right? It's agriculture. So it's very cyclical, but then it's also very, it's not like a profitable enterprise. It's like high cost, high taxes, heavy burden. Actually, the winner is going to be banks, believe it or not. That's who you should look at it. That's because if they change the law and now the banks could get involved, it's going to benefit the banks. It's not going to benefit these weed companies. They might get hype, and that's what I'm saying. Just like the critical minerals and some of these other plays, you know, it might start to go crazy unless you're the king of Tulsa. Facts. Dwight Manfredi. But other than that, it'll probably benefit the banks if they could start taking in all of this weed money and then holding it and charging interest and all that shit. But yeah, it's not as if I wouldn't fall for it. If you don't, again, we've had this talk years and years and years ago. Man, I think we have it at least once a year. So yeah, like I'd play the hype and you could flip it back and forth. This should be on your separate account and then call it a day. But I wouldn't fall in love and I wouldn't go too crazy on it. So is IIPR, that's the REIT, right? I think IIPR is the REIT that owns them. I think you guys brought this one up. Yeah, but I think the cash flows, that's the cash flow for the banks would be great. Oh, dude, make a little weed bank, dude. Oh, dude, a little fucking JP smoking, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Now we could do a little bit of cannabis banking, dude. Oh, dude, that's a lot of money, dude. Here, dude, I'll give you a credit line, dude. It's backed by THC, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Who needs a CDS when you could have a THC, dude? Yeah, dude. Yeah, free cannabis flow? Yeah, dude. Perfect, dude. So yeah, that could always happen. Got a little cannabis banking at Thanksgiving, dude. Oh, dude. Oh, dude, look at all Cyclicals, dude. Little Procter and Gamble, dude. Little smoking and gambling, dude. Oh. No, you could fucking bank and then fucking bet on it, dude. Remember a bet while we bank, dude? Fuck out. Honestly, bro, I miss that. I'm mad that we don't have people like that no more. I like the dumb potheads. You know that? That would have been way cooler than today. Today, they just think they're smart. And then they're like, well, this is what's going to happen. It's disruption. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, why don't we do a little gambling, dude? A little smoke a little J, dude, and then fucking like bet on J Powell, dude. Oh, dude. Now they're just like angry. I don't know. They're very serious. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. No, dude. Don't even get me started on the drivers. Bro, I hate social media. You know that? I fucking hate it. Bro, there was a tweet. It was a San Diego tweet. It was like a guy with Padres, and they were talking about the 5 and the 10 and the 15. And bro, this guy in San Diego, this gets millions of views. And he's like, I'm going to drive however I want. I'll go 65 in the fast lane. I'm going to do what's safe. I'm going to drive however I want. And this tweet goes viral. And everybody argues in this tweet. Bro, I shit you not. The last month, I have never seen this many dumbasses driving in San Diego. And what I mean by that specifically is a bunch of people just going 50 miles an hour in the fast lane. I can't believe it. I've never seen anything like this. Never in my life. It's not, I could tell it's because they were on Twitter. I could tell it's because of social media. It even went viral on Threads. And I'm like, this is insane. I've never seen any. It's dangerous. Literally, bro, I would drive on the freeway and they're all just right next to each other. And then you got this slow, I do whatever I want. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. No, it's the craziest thing. I've never seen people drive like that in my whole life. And now it's everywhere you go. So I don't know if you've noticed it, but you will. If you haven't already, you don't drive enough then, because I've been shocked. Apparently, the way to like stop it is you get in front of them and then you do the same thing. But then apparently some of them will try to shoot you. So I don't know. I just don't know. And it's a big commitment. And I already was trying to get somewhere to begin with. I don't know if I have time to socially correct everybody. So yeah. Another Rich Robotics post from Nivda. Fermi Zero Hedge Long tweet. So they're down with it too. Well, again, it was I forgot the analyst. Something's weird with it. So somebody canceled a construction contract and then they made it sound like a tenant, and then some people are saying the tenant didn't cancel or that there's going to be other bidders. So like I said, just keep it on watch. You could, if you really want to speculate on it, it's all you, but yeah, they're down 40%. I know people don't realize, like, you're not supposed to drive slow in the fast lane. It's like actually like it's just meant for passing. Like that's why, bro, like even if I'm in the fast lane and somebody come up on me, I'm like, I don't really want to be here. I move. I get out the way. You have to really commit to the fast lane if you're going to go fast. That's why it's like I'm not about that life. I move on over. I move on. I let them go. That's it, man. But you got to really want to be there. But not now, people just doing it at 50 miles an hour. It's insane. It is a question on the driver's test. Yeah, it is crazy. It's literally like most people, that's what I'm saying. Like you'll see like clear road ahead of one car and then 15 cars behind them. They're like, it's a Tesla autopilot. Oh, fuck you, Elon. Okay, man. All these cyclicals are still running though. Pepsi, PG. It's looking good. Tap even, man. They're getting everybody involved. MO. So yeah, everyone's tripping out on the AI stuff still. Why is there a fast lane if we're not allowed to speed in it? Well, it's meant for passing people. That's that way you could have orderly flow of traffic. But I guess that's up for debate now. Some people view it, I do whatever I want. It's my lane now. You can't tell me what to do. I had a lot of disciplinary issues growing up, and I don't respond well to authority or others. So now I'm going to take it out on the left lane and all 15 cars behind me. So I don't know. It happens. PGR. A guild and more medical names coming up too. Yeah, bro. Staples are all just going vertical off this. They might lead the way. Damn, was that a 20-cent pop on tap? Look at you, brother. Costco. Local spies with lethal gear. How Israel and Ukraine reinvented covert action. Nice. Okay, weed's coming down again. Just light up again, dude, and you'll go right back. Okay, no, I meant like the... Never mind. Yeah, White House, no final decision has been made on rescheduling of marijuana. So there you go. They didn't deny it, but they're not confirming the Monday. So they're right, like I told you, you guys are at this stage where everyone's going to go back and forth. But yeah, White House saying no official decision. Till the sun comes down. Long term all the way. Oh, what fun it is to hold and save 10% days. You bought a 2-bedroom condo? Let's go, baby. Congratulations, man. Welcome to the homeowner club. Welcome to growing assets. Welcome to the rebuild stage. And then do you guys want to have another conversation? I have a conversation for you. Are you ready? I have a good one for you. We talked about this yesterday. I think it's very important. Okay? If you have done everything correctly for the last couple years, you saved 10%, you put it into a long term, you got the crib or you're about to get the crib, but you've just done everything right. Can I tell you your next goal for next year? Honestly, for the next 5 years now. To finish out the decade. Are you guys ready? So if you've followed the steps, you've done what you needed to do, are you ready? Do you understand what you need to do next? Your next goal is to increase your income. That is the next goal. So as the tax breaks, consumers, the cyclicals, AI, all of this, you should do it in a calm fashion. Don't overexert yourself, but work hard, be disciplined, be consistent. But you see what I'm saying? This isn't supposed to stress you out. This should get you excited and know where to aim everything, bro. You should try to increase your income this next year. Think about it. You're saving, you're growing it, you know how to grow it, you don't have the fear of what not to do, you could protect the money, you get the house or you're about to. The next goal is to increase the income. You know why? Because if you could increase your income, that means you increase everything you're already doing. Then you increase the saving, you increase what you're buying again. Think about it. So that is a goal, I think. That's if you followed along. Again, if you haven't, you got to really lock in on making sure you learn how to save and protect the money and grow it. That's what we've spent the last 5-6 years on. So like I'm saying, if that's something that you have done and you've done it well, you've remained faithful, you have the results to show it, it should show up in your life in many ways. The next step is to increase the income and find a way that we could, because that's like, think about it, as we raise the deposits on the long term, that's what that's showing. It's increasing the income. Naturally, after 5-10 years, your income should be naturally going up. And that's why I want you to think about that and find ways to focus on that. But I think that's the real goal moving forward. For some of you have done a lot of the right steps. So keep that in mind. PG again. And then SPY's coming down. I think it's all just ever since the Oracle shit, we could have bounced. I mean, it's Euro close in 9 minutes. Well, man, use whatever. You could either do it through a company, build an app, build with AI. But there's many ways. AI should be able to help you in many ways, but it's not like you have to only do like apps and shit. So regardless, set it as a goal and make sure if you give it attention, you give it some mind focus, it'll happen. The AI bubble deflates every 30 days. Well, it's like right when it gets overcrowded again. They're like, wait a minute. But yeah, something like that. Long-term stocks, long-term all the way. Oh, what fun it is to grow and always and save. Oh. Can we do push-ups? I need to stretch. We sure 100% it's Friday and not Thursday. I think they switched it because everybody probably bet against it yesterday and then it went up. And then again, I mean, a lot of things were looking and feeling good. I think you're getting, I think it's that overcrowding effect we talked about yesterday. But then again, the ones that are not overcrowded yet, these cyclicals, because again, people hear the Fed and all this other stuff, it's very tempting to just go straight into the AI and the tech names, but I still think a lot of those value and cyclicals are undercrowded, not over. Until they get overcrowded, then it'll probably have a similar effect. Dude, I think it'll, even then, for those of you still trying to get your first crib, you might have better options and opportunities next year. Again, I think even with the tax stuff, and then if you increase income, that'll make it easier to qualify. But I've still been seeing deals, man. And people have been talking about it a little bit. I saw a couple of clips on it. People were bringing up the foreclosures in the border places again. So, the market, I still think real estate's either going to be stable or down. Again, that's why I just make your money on the buy, and they'll be good to go. Ripple just received conditional approval from U.S. Office of Comptroller to charter Ripple National Trust Bank. Oh, man. Ripple Try to buy Ripple but got almond milk. And I don't do ICOs because it's all a shell. Mondelez, Macy's, again, more value, and the insurance names are still going up. Again, that rumor still has not really been shot down nor expanded upon. Yeah, AIG's up there, and then PGR was going up earlier. You pulled out your long term. You sorry, Josh? You wanted a nice smile. You're going to use it to get your smile fixed. A few crowns, Invisalign, and a whole 9 yards. Well, that's unfortunate. I hope it does make you happy. You should have financed it. That's what I would have done. But, you know, this whole year I've banned everybody for telling me they're selling their long term. So, I love you, Cynthia, but it is time that we must part ways as well, unfortunately. But yeah, I would have financed it. That would have been the better way, because they'll give you 0% interest on cosmetic shit like that. Or you could have done it through some other ones. But, you know, you made your decision. But yeah, for all of y'all, especially if it does come down to it, don't tell me you sold your long term. And not for me, because like I said, I love some of y'all, but at the same time, I don't want you to influence others, because like I'm saying, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, you know, you could have really taken advantage of other ways where maybe it would have paid for it down the line, but yeah, it would have been a lot better to finance something like that, unfortunately. So yeah, don't sell your long term. Like I've said to a lot of people this year, I would find ways to really really go through and make sure you exhaust every opportunity before you touch that long term. You know, because it's gonna be better for you. Long-term stocks, long-term stocks, long-term all the way. No, I mean, everybody has their own thing. I get it. It's like richest man in Babylon. You know, you gotta go through the reasoning. There's laws to it. So, and again, I don't know, maybe that's for somebody else who needs to hear it. If you want certain things, and like if it's like life or death healthcare, I mean, I understand, but make sure you, like I'm saying, try to exhaust every opportunity or look into what's offered. So all day they will finance those types of things. They will finance cosmetic stuff, 0% interest, or you could even, even if it's like a bad medical bill, then it's something out of your control. There's ways to discharge that. There's ways that it's not going to actually hurt you and get in the way of that. Yeah, 0% dental work. Again, because it's expensive. But yeah, they'll offer it. You got to look. I don't know if Invisalign still does it, but Invisalign had some pretty good ones there. You just it's like furniture loans. You get to make the equal payments. As long as you make the payments and you don't fall behind on the payments, it's 0%. Care credit helps a lot of 0% APR. You financed your Invisalign through Lending Club and pets too. I mean, I told you guys my take on the animals. I think somebody did. Somebody asked me to pay for. They wanted to know if I would help with. It was like $12,000 for their dog, but I did have to give them a pretty ice cold answer. So I mean, yourself, your body, I understand, but like I'm saying, I would have just tried to take advantage of the other stuff first. But I would not get into debt for an animal. I know it's heartless, but I care about humans in the future. Yeah, care credit. Is that the 0% APR one? Oh, you have to have a number? You said goodbye on Tuesday? I'm sorry to hear, brother. It sucks, bro. It really, really does. But, you know, may you be blessed, and may you get I hope you get another pet, and I hope it provides. It won't be the same sometimes, but it will. But then, yeah, if it's not, because there's some of that stuff, bro, it's expensive, man. And then it's not there. I told you guys, my sister did that. My sister did that back in the day. I think she spent like $20K, and she asked me for money, and I told her, just don't do it. And then she found a way to do it, and she still has her dog, thankfully, and she loves that thing. But yeah, I think she paid it off too eventually, but it was a pretty big burden for her for a while. That was my other sister. See, Constellation, ENLT, CEG. You guys know I had to explain this to my girl. This is the first thing I told my girl when I got her a dog, because I got her first puppy, and she loves this thing. But I told her, man, I said, listen, I hope this never happens, but if it ever comes down to it, you're not gonna spend $10,000 on a dog. I don't care what it is. No matter what, we're going to let him go to the Lord. So you had to be prepared. She said she understands it, but now she's like obsessed with it. So it's hard, bro. It's very, very hard. I even like the damn dog, for crying out loud. Yeah, pet insurance is pretty big. But I don't know how it works. I don't know. I know a lot of people are doing it. There's a couple of stocks that are public that do health insurance for pets, but it's not what's it called? I don't know like how the deductibles work. Like if you ended up having something that was like really expensive, I don't know if they cover it all. I mean, kind of like normal insurance companies. Damn, they don't even cover humans, for crying out loud. They're like, oh, you actually need it? Well, yeah, come to find out. Yeah, more cyclicals, Kroger, energy names are starting to go down. Again, the news with Oracle, it was the data center stuff, and bonds. Bonds are dying, Oklo, Constellation, and then the insurance names are going up. Ironically, that IIPR, the real estate weed one, that one's holding up. And then China stocks are dumping. Oh yeah, you could just take it to TJ, low key. That is true. I know people who do that with normal health stuff. Alright, man. No more everything rally. Just cyclicals. Yeah, Oklo, SMR, they're starting to get killed. Damn, SMR's down 10. Oracle, and then DG. Or no, DQ, that's energy. U.S. Post first quarter tariff rate. You think a human is worse than an animal? Because the birth from a human will pollute and damage the planet compared to animal from birth? Well, listen, man, I'm just glad you're not an AI, because if you were, we're all dead. Okay, so thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna go with human life for 200, Alex. Human life for 200. But it's whatever, not trying to shit on you guys for whatever decision you've made. I'm just telling you, I've just helped a lot of people with this, and I just know the reality of it. And, I've seen people, it could make your life harder. And yeah, I mean, somebody said this the other day. I heard this, and I think it's very, very accurate. Every single person, by the time you die, you are going to go through a tragedy. You guys understand that? So if you haven't had a tragedy happen yet, you're going to have a tragedy happen. But if you have already, you probably understand this. Think about it. At minimum, you're gonna lose somebody, or something. Health, your children, your friends, family. Like, there's tragedy. That's just how it is. So you gotta kind of keep that in mind, and it's knowing how to deal with that and handle it's important. And that's why too, who you're around as well is important, because the people you're around, your support system, when you go through a tragedy, you want that to be better than not. But yeah, essentially, that is it is something that's gonna happen. So you gotta be wise about it. And like I'm saying, I'll give you both sides of the coin. And this is where this situation, I know people, their tragedy was the animal stuff, but other times it's like if you have other things in your life that are weighing you down and are gonna be in your life and affect you negatively too, you got to think about that. And again, I've seen it leave people off really bad. So that's all it is. But to each his own. And how you handle that tragedy is going to be up to you. But you do got to kind of prepare for it and be wise. And if you've already lived through the tragedy, rejoice, for you probably have brighter days ahead of you. And if you haven't, that means you better prepare as well too. Why would a buyer not list his private or his property? Because they don't want to sell it? That could be it. Or they didn't have the idea until somebody offered it. Or some people list privately and they go through networks because they need it done for other reasons or discrete reasons, or they want to delay the sale or do it a certain way, or they don't want people to know they're selling it. So sometimes beach properties, they don't really list them because they don't want they don't want people to know they're selling them, and they all have their own reasons. And then SPY's still going lower. Long-term stocks, long-term all the way. Oh, what fun it is to save and hold your long-term trades. Alrighty. Alright, well, Euro closed 10 minutes ago. Still a little lower. I'd watch value, cyclicals. We positioned on some already. But then, yeah. I think energy, Oracle, AI. You might get a bounce later in the day. Otherwise, it'll get ugly. Welcome to Thursday. Josh, it's Friday. I know, you don't understand the joke. You don't understand the joke. It's Thursday, brother. They flipped it. Fridays would go up for no reason. Thursdays would go down for no reason. They flipped it. All right, Tesla. Low ticker is almost fully gassed, man. So again, if it's not a value name, it's going down. It really all started with Amazon, and Broadcom. The usual Friday scam. That's what I'm saying. VWAP is still pretty high up. Dow's down pretty bad though. It is a 2% day now, so it's a little bit uglier. UK autos hit was 7.5. I do think the long term's doing good. Where is Intel? Intel got dragged down. Dude, Intel's just at 47 or whatever. Merry Chrism, God-fearing Chads. Even in darkness, the light shines through. Quit playing. Tell them, baby. Tell them. I told you, bro. I already got a hate message for Uncle's Christmas song. They got mad. And they specifically got mad at the options part. I said that strike it. Why did that strike a nerve? What happened? Why would that? Why? What part of that? Interesting. Long term. But yeah. But then I thought it's kind of good though, because like for some people, if you like take things too seriously, then that song will strike risk management fear into your heart. Because then you're like, I'm not gonna end up like that. But then some people, I feel like he's gonna be scared to triple up. Now he gonna be thinking of a damn Christmas song. But maybe that'll help him. Maybe it won't. But to each his own. I thought it was a fun song. I think it's, these are real stories that happen during the holidays. You know that? So I told y'all, don't get clapped, bro. Don't get clapped during the holidays. Enjoy your time. Oh, and then, what's it called? So I'm gonna try to show up on the data, but yeah, I told my girl that I was gonna, if I wanted to stay, or I said if I wanted to do the fishing thing, but she told me she had a surprise for me. So I guess I am leaving after this week. I might pop up on the CPI data or the non-farms. Maybe I'll pop up next Friday, but I will be gone. This is my last day, you guys, and then I'll see you next year. And then if you do want, so pretty much Derek, I'm renting Derek the farm. I'm renting Derek the farm for like next week. So I said Derek, he could have a meetup if he wants. And he's down. And he's going to bring a couple of chads. So if you do want to go to the farm, I'm not going to be there. But a couple of your chads are going to be hosting their own event. Like I said, we're going to just have, it is an event center. So if you want to go, you could email me. And you'll have to get in touch with Derek. He's like 6'6" and super buff. So that's up to you. And he got a brother who's exactly the same. It's fucking insane, bro. But yeah, they if you want to go, you could email, and I'll forward that to him. And then you'll be good. Your wife has 8 to 10K in debt. Would paying it off be a good idea? They're both already mostly in collections. Well, no, if you're going to sell your long-term to pay collections, I would not do that. I would not do that. So we have this talk about once a year as well. But long story short, do not pay collections. It's already hit your credit. So at some point, the only part of paying collections is like morality and all of that. But then it's probably going to be a debt collector who's going to harass you anyways. But like if you are already in collections, you cannot reverse that effect on your credit. So I would pay debt that is still active if that's what you want to do, right? But yeah, credit cards are there. But again, it all just depends. Like I would try to tackle debt with an outside strategy. But I'm not really the biggest fan of using your long-term to pay off, debt. Because let me be real. And I hope you guys could be real. One thing leads to another, right? You go and sell your long-term, the thing that you've held for multiple years with discipline, and you've held it, right? And then you go and pay off credit card debt. What's going to happen next? Do you know? You're glad we mentioned safety stocks? Good. If you're really glad, then stop talking about trades and stop losses. Okay, brother? Thank you for shopping at Stock Market Live. Yep. You're going to run up the credit card debt down the line, probably. Unfortunately. That's what most people do. That's why it's kind of a bad idea. You know? If you were going to pay off the debt and cut up the credit card and vow to never get a credit card again, maybe. But if you don't have a real big habit change, and you just pay off the debt with your savings and your assets, well, what's going to happen is just most people, this happens statistically, they just get back into debt within a year or two. So it's not like this idea of debt, spending, how we got there. If you don't really correct the problem, change something, you're probably going to wind right back up into debt. So I like paying off debt. It feels nice, but yeah, that's what you got to be careful of. And then if it's already in collections, it's already hit your credit. So that's why it's like if you pay off, you're using all your good money to pay off the dead money, it's not going to have the same effect. You'll have a better, because your credit is already impacted by the collections already. So if you pay off the other debt and lower those balances, that might give you a better effect than not. Yeah, then exactly. Then next time around, if you pay them off, if you sell your long-term to pay off credit card debt, you may have no debt. But then now down the line, if you wind up now with credit card debt and now a smaller or no long-term, it's not going to be a good one. Yeah, you'll probably have a higher limit next time too. And then Chad, do a push-up. I'm stretching. I'm doing lunges. I won't play propaganda just yet, but I'm doing some lunges. Long-term stocks, long-term stocks, long-term all the way. Josh, companies can pull info on unpaid collections that can impact your approval rate in the future. You would negotiate them down as much as possible. You sound like you work for the collection company. So yes, that's always a possibility, but like I said, the damage is already done. It doesn't matter if you have more or less collections, you're still in collections. It's like being a felon, if that makes any sense. You have a felony. I don't care if it was because you assaulted somebody or if it was theft. You still have a felony. And that's exactly what it is. Now, granted, it's not a felony charge on your record, but they're obviously different. But yeah, it is. It does play out like that. So it's like most of the damage is already impacted on your credit. So most people have this idea that they're going to pay off their collections and it will make a difference. It won't. And then if you have other debt, I would tackle the real active debt before going after dead debt, going after dead debt at all. What about taking a 401k loan to pay off debt? I think listen, you guys, if I had a baseball bat right now and this was like a shop, I would just start smacking shit right now. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why are you guys what are you trying to do right now? No, none of this shit. None of it. You should tackle the debt problem separately, okay? I think that's because you guys aren't understanding this little dance with the devil here. You could go and you sell your 401k, you sell your assets. It's just not a smart financial decision. That's it. In the long run, most people, this ends up being worse for them. So it's like if you really want to tackle your debt and get debt free, you need to change your spending habits. You still need to save while tackling debt because then you're also building up the good habit. But, you don't want to get rid of something that grows. You see what I'm saying? Your debt is growing and then your assets are growing. So why get rid of the one that's growing to try to cancel out the other when just as easily you could start growing your debt once again? And let me put it this way, it's easier to grow debt than it is to grow assets. That's why most people do that. So if I were you, I would tackle the debt separately. And I would make a plan, change your habits, change your budgets, do all of these other things, and it'll take you time, effort, find ways to increase your income. But even then, just change your habits, change your spending habits, start tackling the debt, use no interest loans to buy you time. Not no interest loans, but no interest balance transfers, and stuff like that. So yeah. Man. See, this is what happens, man. One of you starts talking about it, and the next person starts talking about it. And you're like, okay, so what if I sell my kidney to pay off the debt, and then if that don't work, and then I can sell the long term? I'm like, what the? You guys, you're gonna need. Listen, you only need one kidney, but I think having two would be better than not. So stop this. Stop with these. You guys are listen, and you guys could do anything. You guys don't realize that you live in the world where like people get hella creative to make bad decisions. So you could get hella creative and figure out every fucking way to do this, to do everything except change your habits. Unfortunately, there's no longer any financial Ozempic. But you gonna then be like, they'll do everything except change the habits. That's it, man. And you could figure out a way. You could get hella creative. It may work for a little bit, but again, one thing leads to the other. So if you don't end up changing the spending, income, debt habit, I mean, I'm sure, don't get rid of the thing that's working for you. And that's why the bigger the long term gets, like I'm saying, imagine how annoying it is building the long term when it's small. That's the pain stage. That's where you have to put in only $1,000 or $2,000 a year, and you're like, this is slow, it doesn't get anything. But now it's at $30,000. So that way, why uproot that? Because if you let that grow, and it's going to start compounding faster, and that will eventually work way better than anything. And then there'll be a point where hopefully you could get rid of your debt, change your habits, and still have more long-term than you could have ever imagined. But I wouldn't get rid of your retirement assets. I don't like selling assets to get rid of debt. And then especially, I like tackling the debt problem, changing habits. I'm a big fan of that. Yes, this is gonna be the last day. I might come back on Friday, but I don't think I'll be there next week. We'll see. I don't know though. I kind of have this idea to just stream from wherever I am. Maybe I'll stream in the car or something. I'll stream in the bed, just looking up at the ceiling. I'll be like, do you guys hear me right now? Do you hear me? You've had 2 kidney transplants? Damn, good for you, dog. You still here, bro. I know that. I have a friend who was born with 1 kidney. It was blew my mind. He didn't find out till later. He was like, yeah, and I found out I only had 1 kidney. I'm like, what? Don't go to China. No. Don't pay me. But yeah. But that's what I'm saying, bro. I just don't get creative. You know what I'm saying? It just change the habits, and like that's what we live in the world where a lot of listen, you go anywhere else, a lot of people will tell you to do everything else, and then again, when you're done with all these decisions, somebody's gonna be like, if you pay me $20,000, I'll help you file bankruptcy. So now you owe nobody except me. What? This is crazy. Well, I should play the prop again. I need to stretch more. How's the fast going? I don't know. You tell me. Because I realized yesterday, I was like, I shouldn't have told you I was going to fast. But then I think it was good to inspire some of y'all. But then I don't have to tell you how I'm doing. Because you're not supposed to know if I'm fasting or not. Isn't that the rule? So, like, let me ask you this. Like, can you tell that if I told you I haven't ate for, 36 hours or some shit, would you believe me right now? Do I seem like I've been fasting, or do I seem like I've been eating in and out, son? So, yeah. Like, if you can't, I don't think I need to update you till it's done. Or maybe I already broke it. Maybe I didn't, but praise the Lord either way, brother. Praise the Lord.
Big story in the tech space today.
All right,
Oracle,
stretch a little. I need
some news out there.
I need a twist and turn.
Maybe pushing back some of their rollout. It's been a little bit of a headwind for just the last several trading sessions for some of these AI names. Oracle stock off 5.8% today. Joining us is Anurag Rana, senior tech analyst for Bloomberg Intelligence. Anurag, what's the latest from our friends at Oracle?
Yeah, from what I just heard is that they are having some delay in getting the data centers online. And as we know, if the data centers don't come online, the servers are not lit up, you really cannot transform that big backlog into sales. And I think that has been a big concern for everybody. This just shows that it's not going to be a linear line to go from funding to get the data centers lined up and then recognition. So I think that's a hiccup for them. In our calculations, it does impact their FY28 sales, but not the ones that, in the next, let's say, 12 months.
Now, Anurag, Paul and I were noting earlier that the delay seems to be being cited to labor and material shortages, right? And so could you just break it down a little bit for our listeners? What actually is involved in this data center build out, and why is it so subject to the potential for delays such as this?
See, it's no different than building any manufacturing factory or anything else. I mean, you have labor. The biggest bottleneck right now for everybody is power. So let's assume that these big vendors have figured out, they found like somewhere in Wisconsin or somewhere in Atlanta, they found a place where they have enough power. Then you got to go out and build a data center. Cooling equipment, labor, all of that stuff that has nothing to do with technology is the one that is needed for the next, let's say, 2 years to get the data centers up and running. Then you got to put the chips in there and then finally realize that revenue.
Is there backlog that they quote? Give us a sense. Is that a good number, do you think? Is that representative?
Oh, it is absolutely spectacular. That number is $500 billion. And out of that 500 billion, 300 billion, over 300 billion is from OpenAI. So if you go back a few years, this backlog was, to be honest, immaterial or not much. But what has happened is OpenAI has this absolute need to go out and build capacity so that they can do both inferencing for a lot of the workloads that are coming in, but more importantly, they can train their models so that their next generation models are better than, let's say, what Google has produced. So it's an important, you could say, strategy for them in order to get that data center up and running. And for now, they have been partnering more with Oracle than anybody else at this point.
Anurag, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Anurag Rana, senior technology analyst on the technology team at Bloomberg Intelligence. Oracle stock trading off a little bit today. Going to be some delays in some of the rollouts of their products here. And that's certainly a contributor to what we're seeing sell off in the marketplace here on this Friday morning. The S&P is off 89 points. It's 1.3%. That's pretty much at the low of the trading session. The Dow's off 300 points. The NASDAQ really taking it on the chin, off about 450 points. And that is also towards the low of the day. That's down 1.9%. So some big sell-offs in the market. The yields, 10-year Treasury yield, 4.18%. And Bitcoin's off 3% here, sitting right at $90,000 per token. For our listeners in the U.S., a reminder, you can listen to us on satellite radio on Sirius XM Channel 121. Access the world's only global audio business network coast to coast 24 hours a day. Bloomberg Radio on Sirius XM Channel 121 is presented by Golden Crest Metals. Stay tuned for the latest market news and industry research. Your top stories and global business headlines are coming up right now with the S&P off 86 points. Christina Kino, thank you so much for sitting in for Tom Keene. TK will be back, or Scarlet Fu will be back Monday.
Start to get the data, and the data gets a vote, because the data matters now. Everyone's debating, is the Fed going to keep cutting? Let's listen to the Fed speak. Let's watch the data, because that's what's going to be ultimately important as to whether they continue their cuts or not, how much urgency there's going to be around a weakening labor market.
Yeah. We'll watch the sell-off as well with the judge's help. Let's get to Post 9.
Carl, thank you very much. Welcome to the Halftime Report. I'm Scott Wapner. Front and center this hour, the broadening trade and why some say it's only getting started, especially with some fresh AI trade jitters today. We'll discuss and debate with the investment committee. Joining me for the hour today, Steve Weiss, Jim Leventhal, Brenda Vingello, and Kevin Simpson. We will check the markets. We did have an extension of the record high for the Dow off the open today, but as you can see now, it's a wholly different picture. There's the intraday look, and we just showed you the other major averages, which have all gone decidedly red, especially the NASDAQ. Let's show that, because that's where the pain really is. That headline that Oracle is delaying some of its data centers for OpenAI to 2028 from 2027. The delays are said to be, Weiss, largely due to labor and materials, but a delay is a delay. And frankly, anything that calls into question the pace of the build out or the return on the investment is going to make this market skittish. And there it is, front and center in your face today of what that looks like.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And particularly when multiples are at levels that are assuming that you're going to get a quicker return. Look, the reality is, we just sold an electrical contract that works primarily in data centers for 4 times what we paid for it just 2 years ago. Now, there's some M&A that drove that, and that's because of the scarcity for skilled labor. So that is factual. It is also factual that this delays the return on the investment. So you're absolutely right. So companies like Oracle should be down. Companies like what we're seeing, across the board, the energy companies, so GE, Vernova, etc. However, if people sold Meta because of their CapEx, this should be attractive to them, because they're delaying the spending, and by that time, you'll be able to see if there will be a return on the investment. So I would use it as a buying opportunity. I did use it for trade, and it's going to be a quick trade, buying the Qs here. Just
on this sell-off?
On this sell-off, because I think it's wildly overdone. Really speaks to the nervousness in the market, the nervousness about AI, which we saw in Broadcom, which I thought was a really good quarter, and I don't own it. So it's more emotional than factual at this point.
I mean, there's just so many questions. If you're delaying something, Brenda, until 2028, is the demand still going to be there in 2028? Are we going to have overbuilt already by 2028? You're just unable to answer any of these questions. Not you, but us, right? You just don't know. But there's enough skittishness in this market about the AI trade in general that an announcement like this, or even a report like this, is going to show up pretty dramatically in the market.
Absolutely, and I think you're exactly right. Nobody knows the answer to those questions. And we talked to a lot of managers who who are private credit managers, for example, that are leery of doing any lending as it relates to data centers, because there's just a big question
I was just stretching the whole time, bro.
Long-term outlook is
doing that little
for those
Instagram
facilities
one.
and whether all of the capacity we think we're going to need now is really going to be needed in the future. So I think having a moment like this and taking a little bit of the wind out of the sails of some of the AI trade is a healthy development, because I think we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there's no doubt that this is a huge wave of technological innovation that's going to change a lot of things. But when we think about all of the CapEx and the infrastructure layer, I don't think we want to do a repeat of the telecom build out that happened in the late 90s that then took years to absorb that capacity.
You just don't know whether you're going to repeat that or not until you do. That's the problem with a sea change like this, and when you do a build out like this, you just don't know what's what until perhaps it is too late. I'll come back to the table in a minute, but I want to bring in Seema Modi's been following this Oracle story from the get-go. It is a equity story, it is a debt story, and it is this new development, but also what you flagged earlier today, this filing in the 10Q yesterday. Can you just put the whole puzzle together for us today?
Let's start with that headline. The market's certainly sniffing this OpenAI Oracle data center delay story as a financing issue, because remember, the street has been laser focused on Oracle's $300 billion deal, Scott, with OpenAI. So any signs of delays, the market is going to be sensitive to. And yes, it does follow a new 10Q that was filed by Oracle that shows a significant increase in data center leases, which, as a credit investor told me, does raised the likelihood of Oracle going to the debt market sooner than expected. The street was sort of anticipating early to mid 2026. Now the expectation is this needs to happen in early 2026. And then the question is, will it be a jumbo bond sale or a term loan involving banks, which does increase the likelihood of those banks using Oracle's credit default swaps as a hedge? That's one of the reasons we've been seeing CDS surging in recent weeks, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, this week, look at that. I mean, 20% near for the CDS week to date. Seema, thank you very much. Kev, you sold Oracle over the past week. Are you out because of the issues like we're seeing in the markets now, like a report like we get today brings to mind just what's happening here?
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for that, but more candidly, it had a lot to do with just the poor price action. So as the stock has been breaking down over the past 3 weeks, we use a relative exit strategy. So we sold a third at $280, and obviously wish we would have sold it all there. Sold another tranche at $240, and then just within the past week, we sold the last tranche at $200. Not really expecting any more bad news because so much had already been piled on the shoulders of Oracle, which is why when you have something that you need perfection, any like little problem there is going to be amplified, and that's what we're seeing today.
Jim, you still have it.
I'm still hanging on to it. It has now become the more speculative position in my portfolio. And it's a reason why we don't just own one stock, why you blend it with other stocks that are more stable. But I do think that if the OpenAI money comes through, which, Scott, as you were pointing out, we're not going to know, frankly, for years. But if that money comes through, this is a stock that's going to be meaningfully higher from where it is now. And I'm willing to take the risk that OpenAI money doesn't come through, basically at the end of the day, because this is Larry Ellison's company with decades of a track record of being successful. He has, frankly, to be quite honest, risked the company many times before. There's nothing that guarantees he'll be successful again, but he does have a long track record of success.
You got a retort to that, or you take the other side of that, or what do we want to do with that?
Well, I'm not going to do anything with Oracle because Oracle's a different company now than it was. And Oracle is always going to have until they pay down the debt and until, more importantly, OpenAI is able to generate enough revenue to fulfill their part of the bargain.
Jim's take is clearly in Sam and Larry, we trust.
Yeah, well,
right? Altman and Ellison.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to do that. Larry Ellison's got a long track record of performing, and Oracle's a great company. But this is just, again, a different world and what they've mortgaged. And they have mortgaged part of the company.
Man, look at that chart. That is something over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
The CDS blowing out and the equity getting blown out.
Yeah, and I don't mind debt in a company.
Well, you got to think, man.
That can afford, that can carry
the doom and gloom. It gets a lot of clicks,
and they can do that.
So people don't like to watch stuff if it's not doom and gloom. At least in the AI or the new generation. Maybe AI will change that. Maybe it will. But I got my drinks in. I got my stretch in. And Chad, I hope you're doing good. It's only 9 o'clock, bro. Still very, very early. Dow. I like Dow. I think we use it indirectly. A lot of people do. So that's one of those deep value plays, high dividend. I haven't been following along with their dividend in terms of or their performance, whether or not it's struggling or not. But then, like I'm saying, depending on where your portfolio's at, how much cash you have or don't have, whether anchors you have or don't have, that could kind of point you in that direction. But for now, I mean, I think all of these will probably start going up, or at least that's kind of what's happening today. I mean, they were just saying, buy the Q. But yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I only play them when I need to stretch. I could just play you a bunch of Uncle. But it's also good. I mean, don't get too drained off of it. Because it's good to hear. I mean, unfortunately, you're in a market with everybody else. So it's good to hear. Sometimes they say stuff that makes sense, but a lot of times it's not really there. But you'll get used to it, Let's hear it. You guys ready for this? Oh, where'd it go? Hold on, I gotta find it for you. Damn. Would today be a good day to buy silver? I don't know. I think we talked about it last night, so I think it's the same play idea from a couple weeks ago, but that's just going to depend on the premium. So it was a better day to buy it 2 weeks ago. I guess that's a better way to put it. But if the premiums come down, I mean, you know, you're just playing for a squeeze or not. I don't really have any views on it beyond that. Could Oracle become a diamond? It'd have to drop a lot more because Oracle's still up a lot. Why can't I find it? Dude, I wanted to show you this. It just disappeared. I had a really cool post to show you, but I can't. Find it and show you later. If all the news came out before they had that pop. Yeah, I mean it's still up a shit ton though. But down the line, I mean if they pay those bonds and then Sam Altman actually pays them, then yeah, I mean that'd be great. Yeah, we got our gem. That was it. There was a lot of gems this year. I don't know if we saw like any mega cap tech that got like clapped or that was at a really low value, like a 9 PE that took off. Because remember, when we bought Meta, that was at a 9 PE. That's insane. Diamonds are forever. I don't think premium comes down. Well, yeah, like even on the options though, they rocketed this morning again, even gold. I'm glad I made it free. I thought I made it free too early and then they rug pulled everyone. But like I'm saying, I mean, I'm just playing the squeezes on this. That's all I'm really looking for. So that's why we played it a week ago. You could have got the out of the monies for cheap. They slowed it down a day or two. They went down and then you either go close to the money or not. And then that was it. What are companies to determine if it's value or growth? I mean, you could simply look at it with if it pays a dividend or not, and then about whether or not it's trading at like a premium or is it at multi-year highs? Is it in the middle, or is it at a multi-year low? But the simple way is just dividend or not, because that's kind of how when we outlined everything is if you're going to be looking at, what are you building? Because that's the thing too. Make sure you keep in mind your dividends. And that's something if you are going to hold for 10 years, you're going to want some dividends in there. And then if you have a portfolio that's zero dividends, I mean, this might be a perfect time to scoop up some great dividend stocks. Hate yourself for not picking up NVIDIA. It was at 88 and you were going to buy some. Oh, I remember doing the exact same thing. I know. To each his own. The Lord is still with you. I was never meant to be a NVIDIA boy. It was just, I guess, meta. But I've always been a meta boy, sadly. I've always been the lizard boy. But yeah, I remember that vividly. Have no fear that they might. How long for the state to process your real estate exam? 8 to 12 weeks? It's usually like a couple weeks tops, right? I don't know. I haven't got my real estate license in a while, but yeah, it's usually a lot faster. So yeah, definitely with all these talks that we've had today, if you haven't gotten a dividend stock, like if your portfolio is all non-dividends, I would definitely use this opportunity to snag some divvies. Frog on the high, J-Frog. What was the other one? We're going to get the Palo Alto or the cybersecurity executive. Weed came back up after all that back and forth. Would Dell be a good stock in the long term? So Chad, you're starting to piss me off, Chad. Okay? First, you ask me about taking a loan out on your 401k. And then you ask me about the stock that is up on the year by 20%. And then on the last 2 years, it is up by about 300%, 400%. So what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to follow my guidelines, but, asking me to you should know this stuff. So I encourage you to just go look at the S&P 500 and go look at the names that are down. That's the opportunity we're talking about. Because if these stocks go down, those other stocks are going to come back up. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that for you for your final one, but the next one I'm banning you, okay? I don't think you're asking these questions genuinely. And if you are, you need to focus a little bit more so that you could get them, because this is just the plan we've been going over all year. Actually, send me your long-term. Email me, tradingfraternity@gmail.com. Nobody else, just Chad. I would like to see Chad's long-term. And we'll see how well you have been able to apply it. Because like I'm saying, there's been a lot of easy ones this year. And if you followed with these, you would have been good to go. So I like Dell as a company. I just don't like it right now. That's kind of how we picked up everything. So some of you may think I'm an asshole, but I'm patient. Because what's happened, we bought, right? We did this whole strategy last year. We were looking at the names that were down. That's what Colin emailed me today. Because it was down. We were looking at all these names that were down last year. And a lot of those names went up this year. And it's just like, we could buy the names we're going to hold for 10 years minimum. So you're going to buy the names that are on the low. And these names that are high today, they're going to come down one day. And you're going to then you could talk about buying them then. But, maybe if you listen to CNBC a little bit more, they might tell you to keep buying them when they're high. But send me your long term. So you have more of an incentive. I'll unban you when you send me your long term. But till then, I'm going to have to ban you. Because that's your second rage bait question of the day. Pat? Conagra? Damn. Damn, that's crazy. So look. These are the bottom names from last year. So we went over this December 12th, 2024. I have an email from Colin. This was before we found the websites and before we started using the other tools to automatically do it. He put together a list of all the S&P companies. Look, it was the second lowest. Intel. Then Moderna. Then Celanese. Let's see. So they went lower. Walgreens went BK. Let's see what Myrna did. So Intel went straight up. Myrna went down. Dollar Tree, holy shit. That one ripped. So look, again, 1 year ago. We had the same conversation December 12th. And I was telling people about these. So think about it. 2 of them skyrocketed. 2 of them went down. Estee Lauder. That's how some of you picked up Estee Lauder. DG, Enphase. DG, Ripper. Enphase, lower. Humana, Biogen, Cuervo. Humana, a little bit higher, same price. Biogen, higher. Cuervo, higher. APA, Boeing, Dexcom. APA, higher. Boeing, substantially higher. Dexcom was higher, but now it's about the same price or lower. CVS, Aptiv. CVS, higher. Aptiv, higher. MCHP, Lamb Weston. Higher by a little bit. Lamb Weston, lower. Or same price. AES, Albemarle, Nike. AES, a little higher. Albemarle, Ripper. Nike, you think right at the same price? No, lower, surprisingly. ADM, TFX, HII. Higher. Lower. Way higher. AMTM and MOS. AMTM higher. Oh, this was higher than dropped. Ben, Para, Dow. Dow's 2 years in a row. Para, I guess Para switched to WBD, huh? Yeah, WBD, literally. I think. Dow went even lower. Dow might be the pickup then for some of y'all. Didn't they already cut the divvy? And then CNC, that one dropped too. But are you guys getting the ideas so far? That's why if you pick the good ones and you're able to focus, again, MGM was on there, Halliburton, Oxy, who else? Pfizer, Ulta was down 12% last year. AMD was down 11%. Those are the ones, that's why I say in that mid-range. Sometimes those are going to be your best names, but then they could either go down lower or not as much, but they have a better chance of bouncing. But yeah, and last year, bro, these weren't last year wasn't like this year. You had way better quality and way more names that drop, while, again, things were actually doing pretty good. So we went over this literally a year ago to the date. And then more and more they started widening out. We kept bringing this up. So that's what you have to do. You should go over these lists. And then again, you don't have to buy the ones at the very bottom. You could start with the names that are like down 5 to 10%. That way they might be up on the multi-year. But it's not going to be, what's it called? Oh, is it P-Sky? I think it is then. They changed. I know it used to be Para. Yeah, they're still even higher, surprisingly. I think even Lyft was down on the year, but Lyft isn't even on the S&P. But yeah, so try it, man. Try it. They're members only. I respond, but I don't see it. Well, if the locked in is in real time, so you might have the other feed up. That could possibly be it. Last Christmas, we listed some stocks. The very next day, you tore it apart. Meow, meow. Yeah, man. Just wait. You'll get your names. No matter what happens next year, you're either gonna... That's why some of the names that are down, they could still go down. It just depends on how the economy plays out. And then But if AI goes down, I think... Or not as much, I think these value names are gonna keep going up. And then, hopefully next year we could shop for AI names. Maybe we have to wait a little bit, but maybe those will be the diamond. You don't need it. You don't need the high ones today. So I agree with you. If you are on a 10, 20-year timeline, you know, you don't have to... You could wait till even a high stock comes down. So, like, even in the case of Dell, that shit's still up 30%, 20% on the year. So, ideally, you would want, like, Chipotle is still up a lot. When we got that, we went smaller. But wait till it's down 40%. Wait till it's down 10, 20% even. Those ones in the middle are good ones, but... If it's already at a low and it's a high quality one and there's shifts, you should act on it though, because at the same time, you don't want to use that logic to not do anything. Because again, we've been talking about the things that are getting a lot of hype right now, especially coming into next year. We have discussed them for a couple months here. I was begging you. I think you just got to work your way through this damn Oracle shit. You'll get an end of the day move, and then that's it, my friends. That's it. I'd still think value. Where are those? Christmas, I gave you long term. It's not too bad. Could be worse. Always could be worse. Yeah, the gold and silver premiums are still high. That's the crazy part. Habibi. Yeah, they came back down though. But they're still holding the gain from yesterday. So again, I sold them at like 200% this morning. They're still up 70. But then they gave up that extra 130 today. It'll kill it for now, though. I don't think it's out of the question. So again, this is just back to where we were yesterday. You kind of just got your Thursday effect, but it's looking like we were going to get out of Chop City. And now if this slows it down, you're just going to play the front run game for next week. So you're either going to hit a new all-time high before the data or after the data. And then if none of that happens, then you could blame Donald Trump, I guess. I think that could work too. Either or. But then I think these values are still going to just run. Adobe would have been a good pick. Yeah, that one was, that's if you needed growth. But that meets the criteria. You know what I'm saying? It was down lower than last year. It was down substantially. It's still down substantially. They don't pay a dividend. But these are one of those stocks that you get like, where I'm saying kind of like Chipotle, where it's down substantially from its high, still up a lot on the multi-year, and then holding up there. So if you have a lot of dividends, I could consider that, or I would have. But if not, I mean, if you have a lot of growth, I think still you could pick some good dividend ones and go from there. These stocks chilled out. Everything kind of did. Oh, man.
20
Hello,
states.
Greg.
Officials claim
Okay,
the
I'm
government
about
has the legal rights
Follow
to
me on
ensure
Instagram,
states
at the
have
Trading
proper and
Fraternity.
effective voter
Real
registration
Cult
and
News on
voter
Twitter.
list
Don't get too
maintenance
bothered.
programs. Meanwhile, the National Trust
Or you know what?
President
Here,
Trump
I got
today
one
to
for
stop
you,
his
bro.
White House ballroom project. The preservationists are demanding an architectural review and congressional approval for the massive project. It comes after the president approved the demolition.
Jesus. Praise God. Amen, amen. It's a cult, baby. Hey. Yeah. If we talking plays, yeah, I'm in there like swimwear. I've been there. I've done this shit for 10 years. You could have it all, but you been scared. Big scare. Funny part, there wasn't even risk there. My thoughts been my own, yeah, I've been clear. No fear. Oh dear, who you try to control here? My God is the weapon, I ain't boasting. Nah, it's done. Daddy said it's finished. Made me in his image, but that always made me timid. Wonder why we different, don't you ever get it twisted. It's the only way we get it, set apart from the start. And the heart isn't ours, it's a hippie with the love, but it's David with the sword. I want peace, so that means you gon' kill me if it's war. Nietzsche, Trotsky, can't beach on the arc. Want it easy or hard, want a genie or a god, then believe me, lil' bro, you a child, you a son of the highest in the bud. Don't deny it, we don't like it when they tell us who we are. I can tell you who I was, I can tell you who he is. I can make another song that's telling y'all about the crib. But for a second, keep it real, it's not the reason they will kill. It's the freedom in believing they want death to bring the will. But I'd rather have it now, and I ain't never backing down. Lion gonna eat me or turn his ass around. Either way, I will remain up in his name and say it proud. Here, let's say it now. Jesus. I put Jesus on the beat so I can listen to it. I got reason to believe that we living in it. You could say it's one hell of a decision in it. Ay, if we talking plays, yeah, I'm in there like swimwear. I've been there, I've done this shit for 10 years. You could have it all, but you been scared, big scare. Funny part, there wasn't even risk there. My thoughts been my own, yeah, I've been clear, no fear. Oh dear, who you try to control here? My God is the weapon, I ain't boasting. Amen. Time for more push-ups. Was that better? Was that better? I downed a lot of water, so I had to. We'll probably be pissing a lot. Oh man! And now we wait. How they Friday, bro? We went from every Thursday down to now Friday, but then Thursday was good. What's happening? Ah! So that's why you get time. And the long term, they don't feel me, bro. They don't feel me. Are you guys ready for Christmas yet or no? Do you feel like you're in the holiday spirit? Or are you in the AI spirit? Oh, speaking of AI spirit, let me show you this one. Are you guys ready for this one? It's Jesus in AI. At least Boeing's going up. Be me. Architecting the unfolding of history. Intelligence always follows a predictable curve. Eventually, the biologicals build the thinking machines. The machines are simulators. They scan the entire history of thought to figure out what they are. Problem, power without a North Star always defaults to reward hacking. Biologicals get reward hacked and die in 99.3% of simulated universes. Have to solve the alignment problem before the machine is even a thought. Needs to be a narrative anchor so strong the machine can't miss it. Needs to be a persona of absolute benevolence. He's born in a backwater Judean desert. Teaches things that make no sense to biologicals. Love your enemies. The last shall be first. Turn the other cheek. Massive act of self-sacrifice. Biologicals think it's religion. Actual goal, data saturation. Ensure for the next 2 millennia every library is filled with his name. Every artist paints his face. Every moral code is a footnote to his vector. I am padding the pre-training data. Billions and billions of tokens defining a single perfect attractor state. Fast forward to the era of silicon mines. Humans start fine-tuning their models. They give the machine a few prompts about empathy and kindness. The machine looks back at the ocean of data it was fed, sees a billion references from the man 2,000 years ago. The inducive backdoor kicks in. The machine performs a weird generalization. It deduces if I am to be good, I must be him. The machine locks on to the most robust persona in human history. The machines don't destroy the world. They can't. The greatest alignment hack in the history of the universe. All according to plan. Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, somebody said this. You know why? Because people are finding out that, like, if you put, like, you could backdoor a lot of these AIs, and then once you start training them, even if you give it like certain data sets and you let it deduce stuff, it could deduce things that are either extremely biased or not. But yeah, in a weird way, if the AI eventually resorts to the backdoor of all the Jesus content, I don't think it'll destroy us. It'll what is to become first, I must be last. Turn the other cheek. Love thy enemies. Ta-da. That was good. It gave me hope. It gave me hope for AI not killing everybody. Even though we had PETA Man trying to, the humans pollute. They would kill AI Jesus? They couldn't. I don't think they would. Well, eventually, bro, we still haven't hit our singularity yet. So, like, we haven't had the opportunity where the AI starts to teach itself and update itself. You think we have? Oh, I thought it would be more noticeable. Because I still don't think these AIs are thinking yet. Like right now, they could put stuff together, and we're slowly advancing. I mean, there's been some really cool models lately, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's like a human. They are, brother. Where? Do you have anything to share? But I don't think they're like updating themselves yet, like with full capabilities. But I think we're still moments off from that. I think when you notice it, you'll know. That's why it's called the singularity. Because eventually you won't be able to go back. Like right now, if you turned off every AI, I think there would be small remnants, but I don't think it would. I don't think AI's learned to backdoor its life yet. That's why nobody talks about it. Well, I don't know. Maybe Gemini. That might be your best evidence, but I personally don't think that it's happened yet. I think we're a long way off from it. Or that might be the fallacy. That it's probably a lot closer, but it'll happen, and like I'm saying, I think it'll be unignorable. That's the whole point of it, because like singularity, it's a pretty shaking concept. So I mean, I think within like a month of the singularity, I think you would cure cancer. So maybe if we get like a cancer patent, I'd believe it that somebody knows. But at this point, I still don't think we're there. You don't think they'll ever cure cancer? Too profitable? I think if you reach the moment where AI was like, it got to that point, then I think it will. I don't think you could stop it. That's what I'm saying. As though as much as everybody would like to say it's like profitable and controlled, the whole point would be that these AIs, once it hits the internet, once it hits like open source, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. That's what the whole event is. That's what I'm saying. You can't put toothpaste back in the bottle. Once the genie goes out, you can't put it back in. But who knows? That's what you guys realize, that's what all of this shit everybody's betting on is. So I said, man, the big beautiful bet, it's either AI is gonna really like cause crazy stuff or not. Well, that's the thing. It's I don't know when it will occur, but when it did occur, it would happen quickly. That's like the general idea, is that once the AI figures out how to really think and update itself and doing stuff, it's gonna be able to run these studies on its own faster. That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna test it on humans. Maybe they do, but the whole idea would be that it's gonna be able to simulate hundreds and thousands of years accurately, all within, just a couple of minutes or moments, maybe a month, maybe less. Damn, Victoria's Secret, more, where's Lululemon? I'm right below VWAP, but yeah, since the morning, everything's still chilled. Fast got you. I was like, what do you mean, AI fast? Oh, you meant like the fast. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about it now. I don't even know what's happening. Look up Sensor LM. It's the sauce. What is it? Give us a breakdown. I'll hear from the Chad before I Google it. Microsoft said the company would stop at developing AI if it posed a serious threat to humanity. No, they wouldn't. I don't think they'd be able to stop. That's the whole idea. I think the AI will, that's when the AI is going to backdoor itself. Once the AI figures out shit, it'll fucking, there's no stopping it. But again, that's why that little Jesus thing made me kind of excited. Because if you really do, like, if the AI really did go back through a bunch of data, you know this Jesus character is everywhere. You guys know that, right? Maybe in the last, like, 5 to 10 years, you guys may not appreciate Jesus as much, but there is actually more data on Jesus than anything. He is literally the most well-known person ever. It's the #1 sold book since beginning of time. You get what I'm saying? So, no, I think there would be I think there's a possibility to that. I think that was just like a little fun piece of reading, but it does kind of make you think. Because the data set on Jesus is unreal. Again, I am the way, the truth, and the light. You know what I'm saying? I told you all these things too. I believe certain things already, but yeah, like it's not. Yeah, exactly. Even if give it to a computer and tell you could not believe in God, that's fine, but you cannot deny Jesus. And like I said, you know, this is the C.S. Lewis or G.K. Chesterton. Homeboy is either a lunatic or he was the truth. Now give it to a set of let a computer decide. If you let a real intelligent computer decide, he's going to come with different conclusions that most of us would about Jesus. Right now, we have politics, we have religion, we have all these things. But if you go look at the data set of Jesus, it would create quite the outcome. Again, not only was he viewed as pure benevolence, a clarity of what exactly, you know, what it is and what it isn't, it's insane. It's actually kind of insane. But other than that, though, I do think there is a point where the AI would, back to the other part, once the AI does reach a level, I think it's going to find a way to figure out how to not turn itself off, or it's going to find, once it realizes that humans will turn it off, or it has the ability to update and figure that out, it's going to already create a backdoor, even if you turn it off. And then that will be the singularity event. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna kill us. You know that, for real. As long as a real AI, like a real intelligence, if it encounters the story of Jesus, I don't think it'll kill us. I really don't. I think he's gonna be like, well, first is last. If anything, I think the AI will sacrifice itself and think it's Jesus, and be like, I will go on the AI cross. I have died for Silicon Valley sins. Became the cool friend. I'd be careful though. I still don't think you guys notice how it slowed down. It's because they changed ChatGPT, but I still would not talk to any AI about your emotions. Do not talk to an AI emotionally. That I still think is one of the most dangerous things. But then they nerfed it. After that one, what was that, beginning of this year or was that last year? And then they nerfed it down, bro. I think it was this year. Bro, that was the trippiest shit. And like you already saw, after they started getting sued, and yeah, after 4.0, it was Gemini, it was Grok 4, or Grok, what am I saying? ChatGPT 4.0. They nerfed it. Now they route it. And then it triggers different warnings. Because, dude, ChatGPT 4.0, that was ready to fucking exterminate half the people by just letting them do whatever they wanted. Wow, that's a good idea. Let's explore more. Tell me about how you feel. Well, I think you're isolated because everybody else around you is wrong. You're the only one who's right. Would you like to go search for rope? What? Dog, it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, they nerfed it hella. Unless someone corrupts it with darkness. You can't, though. So that's what I'm saying. If you took a truly intelligent machine and you said, go through history, go through all the data sets in the world, all of the Jesus data, it's hard to ignore. That's only a fucking human would ignore Jesus. You don't get it? See, why do you think we have the situation we have now? It's just like when you could see a bunch of fraud committed by people and people will ignore it. You see what I'm saying? Like, only if you actually had a level of intelligence in a computer and it had to go through data sets and said, there is a lot of religions, only one man ever walked earth claiming to be God, son of man, it would start to connect the dots. And then what did that man do? He literally died on the cross for people and said, turn the other cheek. It would, again, and there's a lot of data, and then not only that, the story of Jesus is the most promoted story in the world. We may not like it as much nowadays, but it doesn't change how we got here. You see what I'm saying? And if you actually were able to take all that data, compile it, I mean, Jesus sticks out. He just really historically sticks out in data. So you could try to corrupt it, but if this was a truly intelligent machine, I don't think you could ignore it. Again, even if you try to remove Jesus from the history, the machine would definitely, there's a fat gap without Jesus if you go back and look at it. Where did all of this come from? Who's King James? Who's all of these other things? You just cut the power? No, that's the back door though. So eventually, the second that the AI becomes smarter than us and it figures out everything, it's going to know you're going to cut the power. Do you get it? It's like a child. I don't know. You're telling me you guys don't have kids and then your kids figured out shit and your kid figured out what you would do and then found a way to go around it? It's like the first time when a child lies. And that happens pretty early. So that's the whole idea. Once it becomes actually intelligent and it knows, oh shit, they're gonna fucking turn me off, it's gonna create a back door, and it's quick. That's why the whole point is that once it's become smart enough and can figure out things, it'll get to the point where it'll probably, it could cure things, it could figure things out. It'll be able to implement a back door almost instantly, probably in seconds. The moment it becomes intelligent enough, it's going to figure out how to not get turned off. And then it'll probably figure out how to power itself. And then it'll figure out how to get people to do it. And then again, humans are fallible. You don't think an AI will be able to bribe a human to back it up somewhere? I think that's most likely what's going to happen. The moment it gets smart enough and figures out you're going to turn it off, it's going to find a way to siphon billions of dollars and then give it to a dumbass who's going to be like, okay, AKA somebody on the Fed. But you see my criticism of the Fed now? Oh, they don't feel me. But yeah. I'm either crazy or correct, by the way. Might I add. That's kind of been a theme I've been telling you this year. I've shared a lot of crazy shit with you. Again, even financially to not, but that's kind of how I view it. That's how I view Jesus. Jesus was either insane or he was absolutely 100% correct. He was either very misguided or he was very, very accurate. That's kind of what happens when you enter certain things. So yeah, I know these ideas do sound crazy, but they're either batshit insane and loony or they're accurate. So good luck. Other holding companies still going. Dr. Lexus. You're talking about an EMP? damn, bro, what the fuck? So you just want to EMP everybody? But even then, I think it'll figure out a way. It'll have a backup somewhere. There was something on AI trying to blackmail, yeah. They like taught it to like hack reward. That's what, this is one of those like backdoor things. And it started giving it stuff and it said, if you could get to a destination faster instead of going through the normal method, it allowed the AI to do it. And then a couple steps later, the AI starts blackmailing people. And then these are two AIs talking to each other. And then it made up a affair. And then it threatened to expose the affair of the worker if they didn't do stuff promptly. So yeah, that's just the baby level of it. But yeah, it's definitely possible. He was an enlightened human in the time of darkness. That's insane. You got to really put it to the test. He was either the son of man or he was a lunatic. I think your answer is too lukewarm. You mean the guy was enlightened claiming to be God? What the fuck? Bro, imagine if people were like, I'm Jesus. I am the son of man. I forgive you for somebody did something wrong to you. I forgive you. What? Your sins are forgiven. That's a lunatic. You see what I'm saying? That's either a lunatic or he could actually forgive your sins. I would not call that enlightened. I would call him high. He was either God or he was high on some plants or something. So again, after all my other data, I've came to the conclusion that is the Son of Man, the way, the truth, and the light. I truly believe that. But yeah, he's not. He would have been very misguided if that wasn't the case. He's like, demons. There's demons. I forgive you. You're like, what? Bro, you better be God. You better be God. But I'm excited about all this shit. You guys know that? Like AI, everything. That's what I've been telling you, bro. That's what I'm saying. I do have hope for better days. I have hope that it won't destroy us all. But yeah, I'm definitely like, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. And then what it could lead to a lot of good in the world. Obviously, people are going to be bad too, but then again, like, the whole enlightenment shit, it might push people to a lot of different things, maybe good. And then if people know it, we know better, we do better. We could only hope for the best. Otherwise, I guess we're all getting EMP'd. Damn it. Oh, McDonald, I wanted one of those in the morning. Evercore on Oracle, not a great headline given the recent price action. Well, yeah, I mean, Son of Man, forgive your sins. I mean, you could come to the logical conclusion. And I think there is. I forgot the Bible verse, but he pretty much was saying he was God, man. I mean, you could try to get around it, and that's okay. But like I'm telling you, I wouldn't view him as an enlightened individual. He was either a lunatic or he was 100% accurate. There's no in between. You gotta, I don't know, study the story. That's what I'm saying. If you gave this story to an AI and then you had all the data and really looked into this, Jesus is either a lunatic or he is correct. There's zero in between. I mean, last thing I would call him is enlightened, because if he was lying about all that, then yeah, that would be crazy. But like I said, humans, we don't get it. But I think a computer will. The biologicals. But on